You're a million times more addictive than drugs, harmful yet intoxicating. My love is fervent and dangerous, but I can't stop. Luo Yao. Lin Ran was reborn. He was reborn at the moment he confessed to Lu Rushue, but Lin Ran felt no joy. Because he knew that Luo Yao would appear soon, and this time, once she caught him, he would be locked up in bed. The thought sent shivers down his spine. He needed to save himself. Reborn. He only wanted to love Luo Yao, but not be forced to. Lu Rushue, her eyes full of shy expectation, waited for Lin Ran's confession. Brother Lin Ran, what do you want to say to me? She knew Lin Ran was going to confess. This time, she planned to accept and then carry out her brother Lin Jian's plan. Brother Lin Ran, are you feeling unwell? Seeing the beads of sweat on Lin Ran's forehead, Lu Rushue looked puzzled. The screech of brakes shattered the pleasant atmosphere. A luxury car appeared behind Lin Ran. He knew she had arrived. Lin Ran took a deep breath, preparing to scold Lu Rushue and slap her in front of Luo Yao. But the car door flew open, and Luo Yao stepped out with a grim face. Without a word, she chopped him on the neck. Before losing consciousness, only 3 question marks filled Lin Ran's mind. Lu Rushue was startled, stunned by the sudden appearance of this breathtakingly beautiful woman. Luo Yao's beauty was unforgettable, the kind that discouraged comparison. Before Luo Yao, Lu Rushue, the campus belle of Kyoto University, was like a drop in the ocean, utterly insignificant. Yet, this woman gave Lu Rushue a sense of impending doom, requiring courage even for eye contact. Oh, who are you? For some reason, Lu Rushue felt a chill, as if she had died. Luo Yao withdrew her killing intent and, without looking back, carried Lin Ran into the car. If Lu Rushue wasn't someone Lin Ran cared about, she would already be dead. A fleet of luxury cars sped away, and only then did Lu Rushue notice it was a convoy, and that the woman seemed to have many bodyguards. Lin Ran was kidnapped by that woman? Lu Rushue took out her phone to call the police, then paused. If Lin Ran died, wouldn't his family automatically inherit all his shares? After a moment of thought, Lu Rushue dialed Lin Jian's number. Night. A dimly lit room. Ran, I want to gouge out your eyes and make them into specimens, so you'll only have me in your sight. Lin Ran felt a cold touch move slowly from his cheek to the corner of his eye. The woman's icy, familiar voice sent chills down his spine. If I break your legs, you won't be able to run away, will you? He opened his eyes abruptly, met by that familiar, beautiful face and crimson eyes. Luo Yao was pressed against him naked. One hand caressed his cheek, while the other held an icy dagger, tracing patterns on his chest. She intended to possess him. If she failed, she'd consider cutting out his heart and putting it into her own body. This familiar beauty, this familiar scent, this familiar touch, this familiar bed. Lin Ran was certain he wasn't dreaming. He had been captured again, his hands and feet bound by iron chains. A mix of complex emotions flooded his heart, pain and relief, and a single tear escaped. Seeing the glimmer in the darkness, Luo Yao paused. Are you scared, Ran? Why can't you be good? Suddenly, Lin Ran stretched out his arms, trying to embrace the woman before him. Clang! Clang! The sound of the chains didn't stop him. He tightly hugged the woman who loved him to the bone. Luo Yao was visibly stunned, then slowly spoke. What trick are you playing, Ran? Don't even think about it. Tonight, you belong only to me. Despite her cold words, his embrace filled her with satisfaction. This was the first time Lin Ran had hugged her on his own initiative, a feeling as addictive as a drug. Lin Ran nodded frantically. Yes, I'll only ever belong to you. These words made Luo Yao frown slightly. He was willing to hug her and say such insincere things just to escape. Hadn't he said he felt only disgust when he touched her? Luo Yao smiled bitterly to herself. She didn't expose him. If that's so, prove it to me. With that, she slowly leaned in. Lin Ran was about to speak. Okay, I definitely will. Emma? The sensation on his lips was familiar and domineering. As the oxygen thinned, Lin Ran knew this was Luo Yao's test, a test of his sincerity. Reason quickly succumbed to desire. Feeling a warm, forceful invasion of his mouth, Lin Ran, for the first time, responded to Luo Yao's passionate kiss. His hand slowly moved to her waist, a gesture that pleased her greatly. Luo Yao believed Lin Ran was feigning compliance, but she didn't care. Even if it were fake, she was willing to indulge. She desperately wanted to possess her Ran completely. Luo Yao's heart was stirred. Lin Ran responded actively. Luo Yao was slightly shocked. He was being so obedient. With a slight increase in pressure, Luo Yao tasted a metallic tang. Yet Lin Ran endured without a hint of blame. A few minutes later, Luo Yao finally allowed Lin Ran to breathe again. Luo Yao, I want you. Luo Yao froze, the dagger clattering to the floor. Her eyes sparkled. Had she imagined it? Was she hallucinating? Lin Ran hadn't called her a devil or a she-devil. He wanted her. Ran wants me. Lin Ran's eyes held a longing. He wanted to give up everything to possess the woman before him. Lin Ran nodded. Give me. They were adults. They understood what these words meant. Okay. Even knowing Lin Ran wasn't truly submitting, Luo Yao was willing to believe him, simply because she craved this moment of reality. They fell into a frenzy. In the past, Lin Ran had thought Luo Yao was a perverted, crazy, Yandera, obsessive, and ruthless demon all rolled into one. So he had always been terrified, always wanting to escape. Now he truly felt this demon, accompanied by beautiful music. The brain's not that useful anyway. Might as well leave it here. A night of absurdity. As the first rays of morning sunlight pierced through the curtains and landed on his face, Lin Ran slowly opened his eyes. The person beside him was entwined around him like a water snake, staring at him intently. A smear of crimson stained the white sheets. On this night in his past life, Lin Ran had been forced. Luo Yao's behavior at the time had been so ferocious it felt like she wanted to rip him open. He had been terrified, so, after it ended, he hadn't noticed any of this. Only now did he understand. This had been Luo Yao's first time too. Awake, Luo Yao's face was expressionless, but fear gnawed at her heart. She was afraid that last night was all a dream. She was afraid her beloved Ran would continue to run away from her. Looking at the breathtaking beauty in his arms, Lin Ran felt a surge of complex emotions. He knew that this seemingly harmless and delicate woman was actually a ruthless, vicious, and pathologically obsessive demon who could snap at any moment. In his past life, he had constantly tried to escape her control, but until his death, he had failed. He remembered Luo Yao's sudden appearance the year he started university. Her first words had been a demand that he marry her. After Lin Ran refused, everything spiraled in a strange direction. 3 years passed in a blur. Lin Ran found he couldn't escape Luo Yao's grasp. The more he resisted, the tighter she clung to him. Finally, after Lin Ran repeatedly confessed his love to the campus belle, Lu Rushue, Luo Yao snapped. She frantically tried to bind Lin Ran to her side, forcing him, possessing him, even abusing him. Lin Ran and Luo Yao continued this game of cat and mouse for another 3 years, with him desperately trying to fly, but unable to escape her clutches. Finally, during one of Luo Yao's business trips, an accident occurred. Lin Ran was tricked by his secret girlfriend Lu Rushue into signing a share transfer agreement, and then he was pushed off a rooftop by Lu Rushue, his adoptive mother, and his younger brother. The wind howled. The feeling of weightlessness and terror remained etched in Lin Ran's memory. With the distinct sound of a heavy object hitting the ground reaching his ears, a brief burst of pain followed, and then Lin Ran died. His father, holding Lin Ran's suicide note, successfully inherited all of Lin Ran's shares in the Saran Group, becoming the undisputed leader of the conglomerate. As for Lin Ran, he could only watch as a ghost as his scumbag father, stepmother, stepbrother, and the treacherous Lu Rushue celebrated his death. To save himself the trouble, his scumbag father hastily buried him on a barren mountain. Shortly after the burial, Luo Yao appeared. Luo Yao frantically ordered people to dig up his grave. Ironically, there wasn't even a coffin, nor had he been cremated. She held his mangled corpse and wept inconsolably. After a long time, she resolutely kissed him. Even as a soul, Lin Rant's eyes widened. He couldn't understand how Luo Yao could bring herself to do that, even in this state. He was disgusted by his own appearance. Ran, why didn't you listen to me? Why wouldn't you stay by my side? I'm sorry. I failed to protect you. Wait for me. I'll be with you soon. Luo Yao must be very disappointed in him. Luo Yao had Lin Rance remain sent back to the manor, then waited quietly. Soon, Lin Tianba, the scumbag father, Lu Yueme, the stepmother, Lin Jian, the half-brother, and Lu Rushue, Lin Jian's cousin and lover, were dragged in. They had been enjoying hot pot and singing at home when they were seized and brought to the manor. Facing the world-renowned and feared businesswoman, they trembled like leaves. You killed Ran. You deserve to die 1,000 deaths. Regarding the issue of cross-device bookshelf saving for logged-in users, it has been fixed. If you still can't save your bookshelf, please remember its contents. Clear your browser's cookies, and then log in again and add to your bookshelf. Their faces were etched with terror. They didn't doubt the truth of Luo Yao's words. The whole world knew how crazy and terrifying this woman was. Wasn't Lin Ran just this young lady's plaything? Why was this madwoman seeking revenge for his death? Lin Tianba stammered, CEO Luo T. This is all a misunderstanding. I'm Lin Rant's biological father. How could I kill him? Lin Jian, Lu Yueme, and Lu Rushue were even more panicked. They had conspired to kill Lin Ran. Lin Jian, Miss Luo, this has nothing to do with us. Lu Yueme, as his mother, I loved Ran the most. I would never harm him. Lu Rushue, it wasn't me. It wasn't me. I was the woman Lin Ran loved most. Lin Ran, in his spectral form, watched all this and gave a wry smile. Lin Tianba hadn't participated directly, but he had definitely been one of the people who most wanted him dead. Unfortunately, he had been blind in life and hadn't seen his scumbag father's true colors. Or perhaps it was only after death that he was willing to believe the truth about his family. As the richest and most powerful woman in the world, uncovering the truth was child's play for Luo Yao. Her voice, icy and chilling, slowly echoed. None of you will die peacefully. Luo Yao's words dripped with endless coldness and killing intent. Lin Jin was the first to break, flipping over and kowtowing frantically on the ground. Miss Luo, I was wrong. I was wrong. It was these two bitches who came up with the plan. He shoved his mother and Lu Rushua forward. Both women stared at him in disbelief. Was this their beloved son/brother? Lu Yueme spoke. Son, don't be afraid. This woman wouldn't dare do anything to us. This is a society ruled by law. Lin Jian wanted to curse. Talking about law with the richest and most powerful madwoman in the world? Who was crazy? Her or him? Even if they talked about law, wasn't their murder a fact? Laws were for ordinary people, not for the powerful. Lu Rushue was still in shock. Seeing the boning knife that suddenly appeared in Luo Yao's hand, she immediately began to tremble. You can't kill me. I'm the woman Lin Ran loved most. If you kill me, he'll never rest in peace. Luo Yao paused. Then a crazed look appeared in her eyes. Yes, yes. If it weren't for this woman, her Ran wouldn't be dead. What did Ran see in Lu Rushue? Was it just her face? Lin Ran, who had been watching the drama unfold, laughed, a laugh fueled by anger. Luo Yao approached, knife in hand, and said coldly, I'll turn you into a human, Drew. And this face of yours, you're so proud of it, aren't you? I'll let everyone admire it every day. Screams of pain echoed as the four pleaded for death but were denied it. Lin Tianba was sliced to pieces by Luo Yao, his remains thrown into a cesspool. This was his final resting place. Lin Jian was castrated by Luo Yao and thrown into the manor's fish pond to be devoured by crocodiles. Lu Yueme was made into a feast, and Luo Yao invited the entire Lu family to dine, after which the Lu family was utterly destroyed. As for Lu Rushue, Luo Yao didn't kill her. Instead, She turned her into a human vase and sent her to Southeast Asia. Lu Rushue's limbs were severed, her tongue cut out, and she was placed in a vase with only her head exposed. Every day, she was forced to perform moans on a stage in Southeast Asia, kept alive by nutrient solution for a while longer, truly becoming a work of art applauded and admired by countless men in the audience. Witnessing the tragic fate of these people, Lin Ran didn't think Luo Yao was cruel. Instead, he felt gratitude. He had always thought he was just a toy Luo Yao wanted to possessively control, but unexpectedly, she had personally avenged him. After finishing this, Luo Yao returned to the manor, changed into a wedding dress, and slowly lay down in a crystal coffin where Lin Ran, dressed in a groom's suit, already lay. Lin Ran was powerless to stop her, his heart aching intensely. "Ran, I'm here to accompany you," I said. "Regardless of life or death, you are mine. We're married. Look, I'm wearing a wedding dress for you. Am I beautiful?" Lin Ran, "Beautiful, very beautiful. It's so good to die with you. In the afterlife, can you look at me more?" Lin Ran, "If there's still a chance, I will always be with you. To sleep together in life, to be buried together in death." At this moment, Lin Ran clearly realized how deeply Luo Yao loved him. Unfortunately, it was too late. Everything was irreversible. Wandering in the human world for an unknown amount of time, Lin Ran saw many things he wanted to see, but he could no longer see Luo Yao's beautiful figure, nor hear her threatening voice. Until he personally witnessed Lu Rushue's death in Southeast Asia, Lin Ran was reborn. "Why aren't you talking?" Noticing Lin Ran staring at her in a daze, Luo Yao frowned slightly. Lin Ran snapped back to reality, the softness in his arms reminding him that there was still a chance. This time, he would make up for everything to the woman before him, the love of his life. "Luo Yao, I am..." Luo Yao didn't know what Lin Ran was about to say. She was afraid he would say something that would make her despair, so she didn't intend to give him the chance. The kiss was intense. Lin Ran felt like Luo Yao wanted to devour him whole, and he began to respond. Luo Yao was satisfied with Lin Ran's reaction. She wanted to leave her mark on him, and then, accompanied by Lin Ran's soft cry, blood flowed down his shoulder from the bite mark. "If what you said last night was a lie, then I'll cut out your tongue." Lin Ran shuddered. He knew this crazy woman, Luo Yao, was capable of anything. "Don't worry from now on. I belong only to you." Luo Yao was very satisfied with Lin Ran's current state. Even if it was a lie, it made her feel ecstatic. Luo Yao. "Then what did you want to say to Lu Rushue yesterday?" Lin Ran froze, then fell silent for a moment. He was supposed to confess to Lu Rushue yesterday, although he didn't know how many times he had confessed. Lin Ran knew that it was after this confession that Luo Yao became even more crazed and possessive of him. Luo Yao only wanted him. What was wrong with that? If she wanted him, he would give himself to her. Luo Yao. "Yesterday, I went to see Lu Rushue to draw a clear line between us. Actually, I don't like her at all." Luo Yao. "Do you think I would believe such a low-level lie?" Lin Ran. "Okay. I admit that I was blind to like Lu Rushue before, but now I've seen clearly. You are the one I've been searching for all my life." Luo Yao seemed to see through Lin Ran's little tricks. "You think I'll let you go just like that? If you dare go to Lu Rushue again, I wouldn't mind making her into a specimen and putting her here, letting her watch me possess you every night." Lin Ran knew Luo Yao was capable of this. In his previous life, Lu Rushue's fate was even more tragic. He also knew that he had hurt Luo Yao too deeply. It didn't matter. Now that he was reborn, he would use his entire life to prove whether he was lying. Thinking of this, Lin Ran held her tighter. Luo Yao enjoyed the feeling of being embraced by Lin Ran, skin to skin. "Ran, call my name." Luo Yao. "Kiss me." Lin Ran obeyed. After a long while, he felt drained and quickly fell into a deep sleep. He woke up again at noon. Luo Yao was already gone, and the iron chains that had bound his wrists had also disappeared. Fortunately, it wasn't time for school yet, otherwise he would definitely be late. Seeing a small bottle of ointment on the table, Lin Ran smiled. He knew it was a very effective scar removal ointment, unique to Luo Yao. He had used it quite a bit in his past life. Lin Ran walked into the bathroom and found that the wound on the corner of his mouth had healed, but the bite mark on his shoulder was still very obvious, and the scratches on his arms and back were also incredibly prominent. All of this reminded Lin Ran of how crazy the woman beside him was. But compared to his past life, this was already good. She just wanted to mark him as hers. What was wrong with that? If she wanted it, he'd give it to her. It wasn't like he couldn't. Thinking of this, Lin Ran didn't even bother applying the ointment to the wound on his shoulder. This mark belonged solely to Luo Yao. The bedroom door of the villa opened, and Butler Fu hurried over. "Young Master Lin, are you ready for lunch?" Lin Ran had a pretty good impression of Butler Fu. In his past life, this butler was the one who advised him the most. "Where's Luo Yao?" "Miss went to the company." Lin Ran nodded and sat at the small dining table. He remembered that he used to sit as far away from Luo Yao as possible during every meal, which was why Luo Yao replaced the large, luxurious dining table with a small one. Even so, Lin Ran was unwilling to sit next to her, always choosing to sit opposite or skipping the meal altogether. Thinking of this, Lin Ran shook his head and then saw the servants bring in bowls of soup. "What's this?" Butler Fu smiled knowingly. He had been quite surprised when Miss asked him to prepare more of this tonic soup this morning. He hadn't expected young Master Lin to finally blossom. "This is the invigorating and restorative soup Miss prepared for you." Lin Ran fell silent. He, a grown man, was considered weak by his own woman? Well, he admittedly was a bit, but that was mainly Luo Yao's fault, right? Who could endure such torment? Lin Ran, "I'm not drinking it. Even if I jump from here, I won't drink a single sip of this soup." Lin Ran calmly started eating, pointedly ignoring the tonic soup. His phone rang. Lin Ran glanced at the caller ID, which read Dad, and rolled his eyes. After a moment of thought, he answered the call. Lin Tianba's furious voice came through. "You little beast, where are you? I heard you were kidnapped. Do you know how worried your mother and your brother are? We waited for a day and a night, but didn't receive a call from the kidnappers. What are you doing?" Lin Ran knew this was Lu Rushua's doing. He had received this call in his past life too, and had even told his father that he had been kidnapped by Luo Yao, describing his ordeal. But after repeatedly confirming that it was Luo Yao who had kidnapped him, his father had hung up without a word, as if nothing had happened. Lin Ran narrowed his eyes. Could it be that they had wanted him dead back then? Oh no, he thought. What was he supposed to do now that he was starting to think? "Old fart, don't you ever talk to me like that again." "Old fart? Me?" Lin Tianba on the other end of the phone was clearly stunned, as if he couldn't believe these words came from Lin Ran. Beside him, Lin Jin quickly whispered, "Dad, maybe brother really was kidnapped, and he's pretending to have a bad relationship with you, so you won't be implicated. The kidnappers are probably right next to him." Lin Tianba suddenly understood. It must be like this. Otherwise, how could his always obedient son speak to him so disrespectfully? Thinking of this, he felt a little touched. Xiaoran, Dad was just too anxious. Although Dad can't afford the ransom right now, you can ask the kidnappers what their demands are. As long as it's within my power, I'll do it. I just beg the kidnappers to leave your body intact." Lin Ran was so angry he laughed, and a surge of murderous intent welled up in his heart. "Who said I was kidnapped? I just went home with my wife." "You're jumping to conclusions. Your brain's like a hairy watermelon, full of rotten soup and dirty water. You're the epitome of an idiot. Having an old beast like you for a father is truly an eye-opening experience." Lin Tianba was instantly enraged. "Little bastard, what did you say? I'm your father. How dare you talk to me like that?" Lin Ran. From one end of the Jiangnan and Jiangbei districts to the other, ask around who's the daddy? Calling me a little bastard every other word. You're like you have an enema stuck in your mouth, spewing nothing but shit. Even your name is moronic. Don't call yourself Lin Tianba. Call yourself Lin Wangba, Lin Turtle. Lin Ran, feeling satisfied after his rant, hung up the phone and then blocked the entire Lin family's numbers. "Lin family, just you wait. Lin Tianba, in a couple of days, I'll show you who's the daddy." Butler Fu, standing beside him, was shocked. He never imagined that the relationship between young Master Lin and the Lin family had deteriorated to this point. And what did young Master Lin just say? With his wife. Home? Butler Fu was almost in tears. He personally added another bowl of soup for Lin Ran. Lin Ran refused to drink it no matter what. Life at the manor was too boring. Lin Ran didn't even bother to leave the villa. He really missed his domineering CEO wife. Thinking about her, Lin Ran picked up his phone, searching for the chat log full of transfer records that he had never accepted. Meanwhile, in the Lin family villa, Lin Tianba furiously threw his phone, which hit Lin Jian's forehead. Ah, fuck! Lu Yuemei was startled and quickly checked her son's injury. Lin Tianba was also stunned, frightened by the sight of Lin Jian's bleeding forehead. Lu Yuemei glanced at Lin Tianba with some annoyance. She asked worriedly, "Son, are you okay?" Lin Tianba was embarrassed. "I'm sorry, son. Dad didn't mean to." Lin Jian endured the pain, but acted obediently. "It's okay, Dad. You should focus on saving my brother. At least ask the kidnappers to leave his body intact." Lin Tianba, "Don't worry about that ungrateful wretch. He deserves it if he dies." Lu Yuemei handed the phone back to Lin Tianba and said, "Yes, husband. Xiao Ren must have been threatened just now. I'm so worried as his mother. Call him again and ask the kidnappers to leave his body intact." Lin Tianba was moved to tears. "You guys, you're too kind. If that ungrateful Lin Ran were half as sensible as Xiao Jian, I wouldn't have made him sleep in the utility room." Lin Tianba took the phone and asked, "What's that ungrateful wretch's number?" After this question, all three fell silent. They didn't seem to have Lin Ran's number. The call just now was made using a number they got from Lu Ruxue. Having no other choice, Lin Tianba had to call Lu Ruxue again. "Xiao Shui, what's Lin Ran's phone number? My phone just fell on the floor and broke, and I can't find a call log." After getting the number, Lin Tianba dialed Lin Ran again. However, no matter how many times he tried, the call wouldn't go through. He tried with Lin Jian's phone, but it was still no use. "That ungrateful wretch. Forget about him. Let's take Xiao Jian to the hospital. Look, this wound is at least a centimeter long." Lin Jian gave a sweet smile. "Thank you, Dad." Luo Group, high-level conference room. All the executives were as silent as cicadas. Every meeting felt like an execution to them. If it weren't for Luo Group's generous compensation, they would have left long ago. And today, CEO Luo's face was so cold it could freeze water. Luo Yao fiddled with a pen in her hand, murderous intent brewing in her heart. At noon, her assistant reported that Lu Ruxue wanted to collect her internship certificate. Lu Ruxue was a summer intern at a subsidiary of Luo Group, which was naturally arranged by Luo Yao. She had complete control over the movements of everyone related to Lin Ran, especially Lu Ruxue. Yesterday, Lin Ran went to see Lu Ruxue, and today she received news from Lu Ruxue again. And the request for the internship certificate meant that school was about to start. Luo Yao was already considering whether to make her disappear forever. If Lu Ruxue were gone, would Lin Ran break down, or would he stay by her side? She didn't want to gamble, nor did she dare to. Ding! The notification sound of a message from a special contact rang. Luo Yao paused and picked up her phone. Then all the executives saw the icy expression on CEO Luo's face gradually turn into a smile. What the heck? CEO Luo was actually smiling? What kind of message had such magical power? They were dumbfounded. That's all for today's meeting. Everyone gets a 100,000 bonus this month. After saying this, Luo Yao got up and left, leaving a group of stunned geese behind. Was the boss suddenly satisfied with their work and even gave them a bonus? This was too unbelievable. Luo Yao walked all the way back to her office, her eyes never leaving the phone screen. Her assistant, Lu Ming, who was following her, was shocked. Could the person who could cause such emotional fluctuations in CEO Luo be young Master Lin? Sitting in her office, Luo Yao stared at the few words in the message, unable to calm down for a long time. "Aran, miss you. When are you coming back?" After some thought, Luo Yao replied, "Soon." Luo Yao, I'm going back. You can finish the rest of the work. Lu Meng was shocked. Ah, okay. CEO Luo was actually leaving work early. Oh my God. On the way back, Luo Yao received a message from Butler Fu. He had sent her a detailed record of Lin Ran's conversation with the Lin family. Luo Yao's eyes brightened remarkably after reading it. If her employees saw this scene, they would probably be shocked again. Aran said, "Wife, home." Inside the private estate villa, Lin Ran immediately went to the kitchen after receiving the news. He wanted to make dinner for Luo Yao. This was also the only way he could contribute at present. He didn't know if the estate allowed him to leave, and he didn't ask. At this time in his past life, he could only be locked in bed. Now, at least he was free from chains, and he didn't dare to ask for more, taking things slowly. Besides, with such a comfortable villa, a life of luxury, and a beautiful and enchanting wife, wasn't this already the peak of life? Why did he insist on returning to his former life? Speaking of his childhood, Lin Ran had a pretty good one, but after his mother's death, everything changed. With a stepmother came a stepfather, and a younger brother who constantly wanted him dead. He had no status in the Lin family. No one in the Lin family had ever done anything for him. Even his university tuition was earned from his part-time jobs. Compared to his younger brother Lin Jian's life, his was hell while Lin Jian's was heaven. Wasn't a wealthy wife better? Seeing Lin Ran about to cook, the villa's chef and servants were shocked. The kitchen was considered a dangerous place in the household. If Lin Ran were to get even slightly hurt, they would all be doomed. Everyone had witnessed the young lady's attitude towards Mr. Lin. Even if Mr. Lin blew up the estate, the fault would lie with the bomb and the estate, not Lin Ran. Despite the chef and servants' attempts to dissuade him, Lin Ran remained unmoved. "It's okay. I just want to make Luo Yao dinner. I'm not trying to steal your jobs." The head chef was nearly in tears. "Young Master Lin, this isn't about work. It's about your safety. If something happens to you, I won't be able to live." Lin Ran compromised. "How about this? You watch from the side. If I can't do it, you take over. Is that okay?" The head chef thought for a moment and reluctantly agreed. This was already a concession from Lin Ran. Watching Lin Ran's skillful knife work and handling of the fire and oil, the chef was slightly stunned. This young master, accustomed to a life of luxury, actually knew how to cook? They didn't know that in the Lin family, it was Lin Ran who cooked, not a housekeeper. After Lin Ran finished his specialty 8 dishes and 1 soup, Luo Yao returned. Seeing no one in the hall, she went straight upstairs to the bedroom. Pushing open the door, it was empty. Her face instantly turned cold. No one was there. No one. The last time no one was there, Lin Ran had run away, and Uncle Fu had taken all the bodyguards and servants to look for him. This time, no one was there again. Could it be? "Aran, why are you so disobedient?" Luo Yao took out her phone, opened an unknown app, and checked the location. Huh, he was in the villa? While Luo Yao was puzzled, Uncle Fu hurried from the kitchen. "Miss, you're back. Where's Aran?" "Young Master Lin is in the kitchen. He said he wanted to cook for you personally." Luo Yao froze for a moment before her expression slowly returned to normal. Uncle Fu wiped his sweat, thinking that luckily he spoke quickly, otherwise his life might be forfeit. "Miss, young Master Lin is almost finished. Please come downstairs." Luo Yao nodded coldly, changed her clothes in the bedroom, and headed towards the dining room. Lin Ran had the servants bring the dishes to the dining room and followed them out of the kitchen. Then he saw Luo Yao. For some reason, the moment he saw Luo Yao, Lin Ran felt an unparalleled joy, as if he had seen the most beautiful thing. This was a feeling he had never experienced before. Lin Ran opened his arms and walked towards Luo Yao. Luo Yao just stared blankly as Lin Ran walked over, hugged her, and then kissed her forehead. "A welcome home kiss. I made dinner. Let's eat together." "Okay." Luo Yao's eyes sparkled. Was this what it felt like to have Aran? Could it be that he wasn't pretending? Thinking about it, she felt it was unlikely, and her face turned cold again. Lin Ran was confused. "Aren't you a master of changing faces?" he thought. Before cooking, Lin Ran had asked the housekeeper about Luo Yao's dietary restrictions. He didn't want to be like the idiots in novels, causing the female lead to have an allergic reaction. After learning that Luo Yao had no requirements for food, Lin Ran went all out. No requirements meant that even if he made a pile of dung, she wouldn't be angry, let alone the fact his cooking skills were quite good. Luo Yao, dressed in casual home attire, was incredibly alluring. Scenes from last night flashed through Lin Ran's mind, and his face flushed slightly. After Luo Yao sat down, Lin Ran sat next to her, lit the candles he had prepared earlier, and instructed the servants to turn off the lights. This action surprised Uncle Fu and the other servants. Previously, Lin Ran always sat as far away from Luo Yao as possible. Because of this, Luo Yao had replaced the large dining table with a smaller one, and even then, Lin Ran sat opposite her. Now he was sitting right next to her and had even lit romantic candles. This change was significant. Luo Yao was also very satisfied with Lin Ran's change. She felt that it would be nice if Lin Ran could keep up the act. Lin Ran served Luo Yao a bowl of beauty soup and then served himself a bowl. His wife needed beauty, and so did he. Otherwise, what would he do when she got old and didn't want him anymore? Uncle Fu quickly interrupted. "Young miss, this soup looks delicious. Why don't you let me have a bowl first?" Uncle Fu was truly afraid that Lin Ran had poisoned the food. Luo Yao gave Uncle Fu a cold look. Uncle Fu knew he had made a mistake. He had no right to question Lin Ran. No one in this house could question him. Uncle Fu even suspected that Lin Ran's status in this house was even slightly higher than the young missus. Luo Yao said coldly, "No need. This is made by Ah Ran. I trust him, even if it was poison. As long as Lin Ran told her to drink it, she would do so without hesitation." Uncle Fu was a little embarrassed, but Lin Ran smiled frankly. He didn't blame Uncle Fu. This kind of worry was perfectly reasonable. "Let me try it first." Without waiting for a response, he quickly took 2 sips of the soup, then took a small bite of each dish. The taste was quite good. Luo Yao should like it. Uncle Fu smiled awkwardly. "I was being petty. I apologize." Lin Ran indicated that it was all right, but Luo Yao said coldly, "Your bonus for this month is gone." Uncle Fu's pupils dilated. This was worse than killing him. Lin Ran generously intervened. "Luo Yao, Uncle Fu is also concerned for your safety. Let's forget about deducting his bonus. Try this soup." It wasn't that Lin Ran was taking advantage of his favored position, but that Uncle Fu was indeed a good person, and he was doing it for Luo Yao's sake, so he pleaded for him. Luo Yao nodded, and Uncle Fu gratefully wanted to thank Lin Ran. But seeing Luo Yao's slightly furrowed brow, he immediately shut his mouth. How could he speak while the young miss and Lin Ran were eating? Then Lin Ran quietly watched Luo Yao elegantly scoop a spoonful of the beauty soup he had personally made and slowly bring it to her lips. The dim, romantic candlelight made Luo Yao even more captivating. It felt like he could never get enough of looking at her stunning face. "Luo Yao, what are you looking at?" Lin Ran, "Looking at how beautiful you are." Luo Yao frowned. "Who's prettier, me or Lu Ruxue?" Bonus question? Lin Ran, "I must have been Shakespeare without the spear before. Such a beautiful woman was right in front of me, and I couldn't see her. Now that my eyesight has been restored, I want to look at you more, look at you for a lifetime. But I really regret it." Lin Ran's first half made Luo Yao's heart flutter, but his last sentence made her feel insecure. Regret what? Regret giving herself to him yesterday? Lin Ran felt the air around him suddenly turn cold and was startled. Why did she suddenly get angry? Could it be? Lin Ran, "I regret not discovering your beauty earlier. I deserve to die." Sure enough, the icy aura around Luo Yao dissipated, and the curve of her lips became more and more pronounced. Butler Fu's pupils widened in shock. Young Master Lin is saying sweet nothings? My God, Miss hasn't smiled like this in a long time. Lin Ran's words made Luo Yao tremble. A drop of soup flowed down the corner of her mouth. She naturally reached out to wipe it, and her hand touched Lin Ran's outstretched hand. Even though they had experienced the most intimate contact, they both froze for a moment. Then their hearts pounded. They let the drop of soup slowly drip down Luo Yao's lips, stirring the imagination. Lin Ran withdrew his hand, a little flustered. Sorry, I just wanted to wipe it for you. Luo Yao, feed me. Lin Ran, huh? Luo Yao, feed me. Lin Ran looked at Luo Yao's delicate red lips and swallowed. Okay. Lin Ran scooped a spoonful of soup from his own bowl and slowly brought it to Luo Yao's mouth. Butler Fu was shocked. He knew Miss had a cleanliness obsession and a dislike for men. Young Master Lin was actually using his spoon to feed Miss soup. He quietly took out his phone and sent a message. Prepare a crystal coffin. Then he saw his Miss open her mouth and drink the soup, seemingly even licking the spoon. It must be an illusion. Luo Yao's slow and deliberate voice came. Does Butler Fu also want to partake in our candlelight dinner? Butler Fu instantly felt a chill down his spine and shook his head vigorously. He immediately signaled everyone to leave, and he left as well, taking out his phone again to send a message. Cancel the coffin. Looking at Luo Yao's luscious lips, Lin Ran gently fed her. This feeling made Luo Yao very satisfied, and she gradually became addicted. Aran, are you really not lying to me? Even if you are, I accept it. Luo Yao had no appetite for food, but this was made by Lin Ran, so she wanted to taste it all and eat as much as possible. For Luo Yao, who usually had a poor appetite, this was truly unprecedented. The meal lasted for a long time, and the two of them moved from the dining room to the bedroom. Just as Luo Yao straddled Lin Ran, his phone rang. He looked at the caller ID. Goddess. Damn. I forgot to block this bitch when I was blocking people. Luo Yao naturally saw it too, and the temperature in the room instantly dropped by 8 degrees. Lin Ran naturally hung up the phone and was about to kiss Luo Yao, but the phone rang again. Just as he was about to hang up again and turn it off. Answer it. 10,000 alpacas galloped through Lin Ran's heart. Lu Rushu, you better be sensible and not say anything to upset my wife. He answered the call. Brother Lin Ran, where are you? If you can't find the book by title, try searching by author. Maybe it's just been renamed. Before Lin Ran could speak, Luo Yao's domineering aura enveloped him. I'm Lu Rushu. What's that sound? Brother Lin Ran, talk to me. Are you okay? Who was that woman who took you away that day? Lin Ran was about to curse when Luo Yao asked a slightly provocative question. Aran, who is the woman you love the most? You. I only love you. A different kind of moan followed, a sound Lu Rushu was very familiar with, so she became anxious. Lin Ran, what are you doing? Why is there a woman's voice next to you? The two rabbits were almost suffocating Lin Ran. He really wanted to curse, so he pushed Luo Yao away. This action almost ignited Luo Yao's explosive temper. I'm with my wife. Damn it. If you have nothing to do, get lost. If you have something, go to hell. After saying this, Lin Ran was enveloped by Luo Yao again, and then even more piercing sounds rang out. These were sounds of pleasure, but also of provocation and disdain. Lu Rushu couldn't take it anymore. Lin Ran, I didn't think you were this kind of person. I misjudged you. You've disappointed me so much. She hung up the phone after saying that. Luo Yao laughed, a smile Lin Ran had never seen before. Ghostly? Mocking? Bitter? Pressed beneath her, Lin Ran played with her two jade-like legs. He loved Luo Yao's legs. Perfectly shaped legs weren't like chopsticks, but rather evenly proportioned, curvaceous, and slender white jade. Lin Ran cursed himself for being blind, deaf, and dumb before, accompanied by elegant music. Luo Yao, we need to be moderate, or I'm really afraid I'll die on top of you. In his previous life, Luo Yao had always taken the initiative, but unexpectedly, it was the same in this life. He was supposed to be the man, wasn't he? Luo Yao was very satisfied with Lin Ran's attitude towards Lu Rushu today. Crazy? But what can I do if I can't control myself? It's as if only by merging like this do you truly belong to me. If you really die beneath me, I will not hesitate to die with you. Even in the afterlife, you will still be mine. Lin Ran fell silent. He knew Luo Yao would absolutely do that. What was so good about him? Why did Luo Yao fall for him? Aran, I'm so scared. I'm afraid you'll turn around and leave me tomorrow. So, even if you're lying to me, can you keep lying forever? Lin Ran's heart ached. Even if Luo Yao thought he was deceiving her, she was willing to accept it. What kind of twisted love was this? Even if I only receive your false affection, I will treasure it like a pearl. But Lin Ran gradually began to enjoy this feeling. In fact, in just 2 short nights since his rebirth, he had already become obsessed. Luo Yao, whether you believe it or not, I will always be with you and cherish you. We will continue like this, trust me. Okay. Tears shimmered in Luo Yao's eyes, but she knew she couldn't cry. In this world, everyone could cry except her, because crying meant showing her vulnerability, and once a person was vulnerable, they would be trampled underfoot. She had to be the strongest Luo Yao. Only then could she protect her Aran. If Aran stopped loving her, if he didn't want her anymore, then she would make him into a specimen and keep him on her, or burn him to ashes and eat him, so that they could be together forever. With hazy eyes, the room slowly filled once more with a wild and romantic atmosphere. Lin Ran was numb, truly drained. Early morning, Lin Ran woke up and found Luo Yao gone again. Does this little girl not need to sleep? Lin Ran finished breakfast and walked towards the walk-in closet he'd never entered before. It was filled with luxurious clothes he'd never even glanced at because he didn't want anything from Luo Yao. Things were different now. He belonged to Luo Yao, so he might as well enjoy the benefits. Each piece of clothing was like a work of art. He found an outfit that looked pretty good and put it on. Looking at himself in the mirror, he sighed, clothes really do make the man. The only flaw was his messy hair. He thought for a moment and sent a message to Luo Yao. Now, no matter what he did, he wanted to inform Luo Yao, not out of fear, but to take care of her feelings. In the eyes of others, she was ruthless and decisive, but Lin Ran knew how sensitive she truly was. Wife, I want to go out and get a haircut, and then go to the Lin family home to get some things. Luo Yao replied quickly. Can I have a stylist come to the estate? Lin Ran. Okay, Luo Yao, on the other end of the phone, stared blankly at the message. Wife. She liked that term. After some thought, she changed Lin Ran's contact name from Moran to husband. Soon, a stylist arrived at the estate and, according to Lin Ran's request, designed a billionaire haircut. Uncle Fu, can I borrow a car? He couldn't hail a cab from the estate. Uncle Fu smiled. Mister, Lin, you're joking? You can drive any car in the garage. They're all gifts from Miss Luo Yao. Lin Ran suddenly remembered that Luo Yao had given him many things, but he hadn't even looked at them. In the storage cabinet of the walk-in closet, there were many property deeds, many car titles, and a black card with an unknown credit limit. Good. Then please arrange a few bodyguards to accompany me to take care of some business. Yes, mister. Lin. Entering the garage, Lin Ran was stunned. It was more impressive than any luxury car show he'd ever seen. He chose a Koenigsegg 1:1, a car so luxurious he'd never even seen one before, and now he was going to drive it. To a fight. Soon, a super luxurious motorcade was driving through the streets of Kyoto, and all other vehicles quickly moved out of the way. Following closely behind Lin Ran was Uncle Fu's car. He absolutely couldn't let Lin Ran escape again, especially after witnessing how important Lin Ran was to his young mistress. This was a man who could make his mistress smile. He mustn't be lost. Before long, Lin Ran parked the car steadily outside the Lin family villa and stormed into the villa with 10 bodyguards. Inside, Lin Jian had just been brought back from the hospital by his family, and the three of them were laughing and chatting. Dad, are you really not going to do anything about my brother? Please contact him. If he's still alive, we can at least ask the kidnappers to leave us a whole body. After all, he's my beloved brother. Yes, husband. Xiao Jin is right. Xiao Ran is also my son. Please talk to the kidnappers. Ask them to leave us a whole body, so we can have a proper burial. Lin Tianba frowned, as if the thought of his rebellious son gave him a headache. Lin Ran had always been an obedient son. Why did he scold him last time? If he hadn't scolded him, maybe he could have found a way to save him, but now… Humph. Don't worry about that rebellious son. I'm his father. Even if he comes back, he has to kneel down and kowtow to apologize before I let him back into the Lin family. Lu Yueme looked worried, but inwardly, she was overjoyed. Now Lin Tianba's attitude towards Lin Ran was almost irreconcilable. Bang! The villa door was suddenly burst open by a tremendous force. Old bastard, your daddy's here. Hearing the familiar voice, the three people inside were stunned. Seeing Lin Ran, Lin Tianba flew into a rage, stood up, and pulled out his 7 wolves cigarettes. You little bastard, you dare come back? If you don't kowtow and apologize to me today, I'll beat you to death. However, before Lin Tianba could make a move, several bodyguards rushed out from behind Lin Ran and pinned him to the ground. This shocked Lin Jian and his mother. Lin Jian, brother is back. I missed you so much. I heard you were kidnapped, and I couldn't eat or sleep. I just wanted to go and save you. But brother, why did you bring outsiders to bully Dad as soon as you came back? Let go of my dear dad. Lu Yueme, Xiao Ran is back. Let your father go. He's been worried sick about you these past 2 days, constantly contacting the kidnappers to try and save you. Lin Ran, speechless. With a glance from Lin Ran, Lin Jian and his mother were also pinned to the ground. A housekeeper rushed out of her room, and upon seeing Lin Ran, immediately stopped. Young master, hello Mama Wang. Mama Wang was the only person in this house that Lin Ran didn't dislike. She had helped him a lot in the past. Lin Tianba was furious. You little bastard, let me go. I'm your father. Lin Ran slowly squatted down, took the 7 wolves cigarettes from Lin Tianba's hand, turned them around, and whipped him hard with the belt buckle. After a scream, Lin Tianba's head was bleeding. Old geezer, remember, don't call yourself my father again. And every time we meet, you have to kneel down and kowtow to me, or I'll whip you like this again. Ah, 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 ah. Accompanied by Lin Tianba's screams, Lin Jian and his mother were dumbfounded. Tired and satisfied with the beating, Lin Ran stretched and slowly looked at Lin Jian and his mother. Disgusting. Lin Jian and his mother met Lin Ran's gaze, not with fear, but with resentment mixed with excitement. Yes, excitement. Lin Ran slowly said, Lawyer Sue, I'll leave it to you. After saying that, Lin Ran slowly went upstairs, returning to his former storage room of a bedroom. The renowned lawyer Su Kai stepped forward and handed a document to Lin Tianba, who was still wailing on the floor. What is this? Su Kai, this is the document for Mr. Lin Ran to sever ties with you. Please sign it. Lin Tianba was stunned, speechless for a long time. When Lin Ran came downstairs again, Lin Tianba still hadn't signed. Seeing Lin Ran carrying his suitcase, he asked through gritted teeth, Rebellious son, are you serious? Lin Ran nodded. What else? Lin Tianba laughed, a laugh of pure anger. Ha! Good. Rebellious son, remember, you'll never be able to return to the Lin family in this lifetime. Even if you kneel down and beg me, I won't acknowledge you as my son again. Lin Ran smiled. It's a deal. In a fit of rage, Lin Tianba signed his name on the document. Lin Jian and his mother exchanged glances, revealing meaningful smiles. Lin Ran put away the document, and looking at the sadly smiling Lin Jian and his mother, laughed inwardly. Oh, and I'm taking my shares as well. The shares of Saran Group were left to me by my mother. You won't get a single penny from me. This sentence shocked everyone, as if they had just remembered this matter. You unfilial son. Xiao Ran, what are you doing with so many shares? Quickly transfer them to me unconditionally. Dad will transfer them back to you after you graduate. Lin Jian. Yeah, brother. Dad is the chairman. If the company's shares are with Dad, it will give him more say in the company. Lu Yueme. Xiao Ran, be good. Listen to your father and transfer the shares to him. Let him manage them for you. Lin Ran almost threw up. How could he not have noticed how disgusting this family was before? He waved the severance agreement in his hand. I'm just a stranger to you. You scolded me, so I'm angry. As a means of self-defense, I need to hit you to vent my anger. Even lawyer Sukai, standing beside, was a bit taken aback by this statement. Leave them alive, don't kill them. Soon, several people were bruised and swollen. Lu Yume and her son, no longer their usual magnanimous selves, hurled insults at Lin Ran. You ungrateful wretch! I'm your mother. I raised you for so many years, and you actually had someone beat me. You're an ungrateful wretch. Lin Ran. My mother's name is Su Yin Yin, not Lu Yume. Brother, don't let them hit me anymore, woo-woo. It hurts. Lin Ran. You're not my brother either. I don't have a brother. Lin Tianba, the father, also began to beg for mercy. Xiao Ran. Make him stop. Dad was wrong. Don't hit Dad anymore. He had no backbone at all. Lin Ran felt ashamed. He hadn't begged for mercy even when Luo Yao had tormented him in his past life. Yet Lin Tianba was begging for mercy after just a few punches. Who's the dad here, you or me? Lin Tianba, in agony, gritted his teeth and said, You're my dad. Lin Ran laughed. Right, since we've severed ties, some things need to be made clear. When I was 13, my mother passed away and left me 30% of the shares in the Saran Group. I'm 23 this year, so you owe me 10 years of dividends from the Saran Group. I checked the company's financial reports. You owe me $300 million. For hitting you today, according to the highest treatment standards at the pet hospital, I'll compensate you $10,000. I spent a total of $18,000 in the Lin family over these 10 years, so you still owe me $299,972,000. Remember to transfer it to my card. Lin Tianba was utterly shocked. What? Where am I going to get that much money? Lin Tianba wasn't lying. He really couldn't come up with that much cash. Although the Saran Group had a market value of $30 billion, it couldn't produce $300 million in liquid funds. Many companies are like this. Even if they reach a market value of $100 billion, it's very difficult for them to come up with $300 million in a short period. Even if he could get it, he couldn't touch it. It was all company money, and he only held 21% of the company's shares, less than Lin Ran. Putting aside the facts, even if Lin Tianba had $300 million, he wouldn't give it to Lin Ran. Lin Ran, I don't care. You spent all my money. My lawyer will contact you. If you can't pay, I'll send you to jail. Lin Tianba, you unfilial son. Haven't I invested anything in raising you for so many years? Lin Ran, haha, didn't we just calculate everything? You brought your mistress home the day after my mother died. From then on, you gave me $300 a month. Until I was 18, you gave me $18,000. After that, I didn't spend a single cent of your family's money, right? Lin Tianba was stunned. He didn't expect Lin Ran to have spent so little of the family's money. Thinking about it, it seemed to be true. A little guilt arose in his heart. But your food, clothing, and expenses over the years also cost a lot. Lin Tianba thought that at least Lin Ran's food and clothing were his. Lin Ran? I ate at school. Even at home, I cooked the meals myself, cheaper than a nanny. After cooking, I was often punished and not allowed to eat. I wore school uniforms. I didn't buy a single piece of clothing before I was 18. After 18, I bought my own clothes with money I earned from part-time jobs. In that case, consider it child abuse. Regarding the issue of users saving their bookshelves across devices, it has been fixed. If you still can't save them, please remember the contents of your bookshelf, clear your browser's cookies, then log in again and add them to your bookshelf. Lin Tianba was completely shocked. He seemed to have been a bit harsh on his son. Don't just stand there. I want every cent of my dividends. If it's a cent short, my lawyer will send you to jail and add a charge of child abuse. With that, Lin Ran turned and left, leaving the people in the villa wailing. Filial son. Filial son. Lin Ran, refreshing. So refreshing. Walking out of the villa, Lin Ran caught sight of a pink bicycle parked at the door. This was Lin Ran's previous mode of transportation, which he bought with his own earnings from part-time work, while Lin Jian's was a $1 million luxury car. As for why the bicycle was pink, because Lu Rushue liked pink. But Lu Rushue had never ridden this bicycle. Smash it! Back in the car, he drove to Huatian Plaza, also the most famous luxury shopping mall in Kyoto. Entering the mall, Lin Ran was dumbfounded. A tattered bag for 180,000? A cheap perfume for 38,000? Would a pile of dog shit cost 882? Although he came from the Lin family, Lin Ran had never shopped here because the Lin family didn't give him any money. Before he was 18, he received 300 a month, but after 18, he didn't get a dime. They called it raising a son through hardship. Why didn't they raise Lin Jian that way? Even so, Lin Ran still tried to maintain the non-existent family affection. Damn, he was so pathetic before. Looking at the balance of only 13,000 in his phone, Lin Ran fell silent. This was all he had saved from working a summer job and various part-time gigs. He had originally planned to buy a bag for Lu Rushue, but now he planned to buy a gift for Luo Yao. He just didn't expect the things here to be so expensive. Even so, Lin Ran didn't plan to use the black card Luo Yao gave him. It wasn't because he was noble, but he wanted to use his own money to buy Luo Yao a gift. As if seeing Lin Ran's embarrassment, the shop assistants started to ignore him. Just then, Uncle Fu walked over. "Young Master Lin, have you taken a fancy to something? Do you need to buy out the whole store?" Lin Ran shook his head. "No, I want to use my own money to buy Luo Yao's gift." Lin Ran finally chose a bracelet, priced at exactly 13,000. After paying, the shop assistant gave him a polite smile. Taking the bracelet, Lin Ran imagined what Luo Yao would look like wearing it. "Luo Yao, this is my first gift to you. Although it's not expensive, it's all I have. When I make more money in the future, I'll buy you all the best things in the world." Suddenly, Lin Ran began to feel uncomfortable. According to the novel's plot, shouldn't something happen at this time? Lin Ran, hearing Lu Rushue's familiar voice, Lin Ran's face darkened. Damn, what bad luck! If Luo Yao saw this, wouldn't he get beaten up again? Unbeknownst to him, Luo Yao, who had just received the news, was rushing over. Lu Rushue and her best friend, Hua Haney, appeared beside Lin Ran. Seeing Lu Rushue again, Lin Ran found that he didn't seem to have any feelings for her, not even a single beautiful memory. His mind was filled with the image of her being made into a human vase and put on display in Southeast Asia in his previous life, sending shivers down his spine. Luo Yao was truly ruthless, but no matter how ruthless you are still the most beautiful Luo Yao in my heart. Lin Ran, it really is you. Who was that woman who took you away that day? And why did you block all my contact information? Do you know how worried my aunt and uncle are about you? Hua Haney immediately noticed the beautiful gift box in Lin Ran's hand. Lin Ran, is this for our Rushua? She reached out to grab it. Lin Ran quickly pulled back the gift. This was a gift for his dear wife. He had to protect it. Hua Haney got angry. Lin Ran, what do you mean? Do you know who I am? I'm Rushua's best friend. With this attitude, how do you expect to pursue our Rushua? Lu Rushua bit her lip, waiting for Lin Ran's answer, playing the damsel in distress perfectly. She found that Lin Ran was very handsome today. He had cut his bangs and changed his hairstyle, and this outfit suited him very well. That woman from the other day was much more beautiful than her. Even she, the campus belle of Kyoto University, felt inferior. And then there was that phone call last night. No, she had to be with Lin Ran. Only then could she help her brother Lin Jian get the shares in Lin Ran's hands. Even if she failed in the end, based on Lin Ran's love for her, being with him wouldn't be bad. Lin Ran was so handsome, it wouldn't be embarrassing to be seen with him. Our Rushua is so beautiful. Even if you're a little handsome, it's useless. In today's society, you can't win a girl's heart without sincerity. Do you understand? Now, if you're willing to buy me and Rushua a handbag each, I'll persuade Rushua to give you a chance to get close to her. Lu Rushua gently tugged on Lin Ran's clothes. Brother Lin Ran, I just care about you so much. That's why I asked you. Even if that woman likes you, even if something happened between you two, I believe you were forced. Can we go back to how things were before? This scene was witnessed by Luo Yao, who had just arrived. Her eyes were like daggers, watching everything that was happening. She saw Lin Ran swiftly dodge Lu Rushue's reaching hand with a Pan Jordan-esque sidestep. Lu Rushue, if your brain is broken, don't drag me down with you. Get lost. Lu Rushue was stunned, and Hua Haney was furious. Lin Ran, who do you think you are? Our Rushua is so beautiful and she forgave you. But you not only didn't appreciate it, you also insulted her. Was she kidding him? Beautiful? My wife is much more beautiful than her. She has the looks, the money, and she's good to me. I like her the most, I love her the most. Where do you get the confidence to talk to me about beauty as if it's some kind of strength? Lu Rushua staggered back a step, unable to believe these words came from Lin Ran. She wanted her gentle, considerate, and doting brother Lin Ran who treated her like she was the only one in the world. Brother Lin Ran, you said that woman is... Luo Yao's murderous aura vanished in an instant, and she stopped, quietly watching. This change made her assistant, Lu Ming, widen her eyes in shock. Mr. Lin, you finally see our CEO's sincerity. The heavens have finally opened their eyes. Lin Ran scoffed. Lu Rushua, don't be buffuchi. You know whether my wife is more beautiful than you. Even if she was incredibly ugly, I would only love her. Lu Rushua was incredulous. Why? This site uses cookie technology to save your reading history and bookshelf. So clearing browser cookie data, reinstalling the browser, and similar operations will cause your reading progress to disappear. It is recommended to occasionally take screenshots to save your bookshelf in case you can't find the novel you are reading. Lin Rant's expression softened with reminiscence. Because no matter how much I love her, it will never compare to how much she loves me. Lu Rushua. Then what am I? What was all that time you spent pursuing me? Lin Ran. What are you? You're the king in a deck of cards, the busiest in the circus, the craziest in Gotham, the guard in front of McDonald's, you're Batman's biggest client, the pillar of the Joker. Lu Rushua / Wahaney. Uncle Fu suddenly stepped forward to add, a clown among clowns. Lu Rushua couldn't take it anymore. She was angry, truly angry. Even more so than when Lin Ran slept with another woman. Lin Ran, you dare to call me a clown? As if remembering something, Lin Ran said, not really. Actually, you're a beauty of sorts. At these words, silence fell. Luo Yao turned into an iceberg again, and Lu Ming facepalmed, mourning for Lin Ran. Lin Ran, my wife can turn you into a human jur, put you in a jar, and send you to Southeast Asia as a beauty. Have you seen Lost in Thailand? That kind of beauty. Watching all of this, the corners of Luo Yao's mouth curled up slightly. Aaron's idea isn't bad. Her assistant, Lu Ming, beside her, experienced a roller coaster of heartbeats, stopping, then beating, then stopping again, her pupils dilating repeatedly. This little white, young master could actually evoke such strong emotions in CEO Luo? Well, it's true. Otherwise, she wouldn't have been asked to report on Lin Rant's every move. Lin Rant's words startled Lu Rushua. She knew Lin Ran was trying to scare her, but she still felt a chill in her heart. Lin Ran, all right, I have to go home to my wife. Don't dangle in front of me in the future. I'm afraid my wife will misunderstand. Also, I've never liked you. Not before, and certainly not in the future. As for the things I gave you before, consider them fed to the dogs. If it weren't for the lack of purchase history, Lin Ran would have demanded them back. Lu Rushua's eyes were filled with tears, like a little white flower hurt by a scumbag. Lin Ran was utterly disgusted by her act. Actually, he really wanted to kill Lu Rushua, but murder was illegal. And wasn't prolonged suffering more interesting than a quick death? Lin Ran was startled by his own thoughts. When did he develop this kind of mentality? Sigh. Bad company corrupts good morals. Lin Ran turned around and froze. When did Luo Yao arrive? Oh no. Would she misunderstand seeing him with Lu Rushua? Someone help me. It was just a coincidence, like a telephone pole farting. Wife, I swear I have nothing to do with Lu Rushua. If I'm lying, may my whole family die a horrible death. A murderous aura hung in the air. Lu Ming had already arranged for bodyguards to clear the area. Luo Yao slowly walked up to Lu Rushua. Slap! Slap! Two crisp sounds rang out. Get lost! Stay away from Aaron, or I'll throw you into the sea to feed the sharks. Both Lu Rushua and Huahaney were intimidated by Luo Yao's powerful aura. They didn't dare to speak. Even though their legs were trembling, they forced themselves to stand. They covered their faces and ran away in a pathetic state. This woman with a stunningly beautiful face exuded an aura of death, leaving them without the courage to even speak. It was just as she said, if she threatened to throw someone into the sea to feed the sharks, she would absolutely do it. The shop assistants were trembling in fear. Huatian Plaza belonged to the Luo group, and wasn't the woman before them the very head of the Luo group? That young man from just now, he actually had a connection to CEO Luo? Hopefully, they hadn't offended him. Luo Yao's gaze fell on Lin Ran's hand. Did you buy this for Lu Ruxue? Lin Ran immediately declared. No, it's not for Lu Ruxue. This is a gift for you. I'm sorry, my means are limited. This bracelet is bought with all the money I have. If I'm lying, may my whole family die. As he spoke, Lin Ran tore open the packaging. Sure enough, Luo Yao's menacing aura vanished. Looking down at the delicate bracelet, it was as if it were the most beautiful artwork in the world. Did our Ran mean he spent all his assets to choose this gift for her? She slowly extended her hand. Put it on for me. Lin Ran naturally complied, carefully putting the not-so-expensive bracelet on her slender wrist. Luo Yao was very satisfied. Transfer this plaza to our Ran's name. Lu Ming's pupils quaked, but she quickly recovered. Yes, so Luo. Lin Ran didn't particularly want it, but he didn't say anything. He knew he couldn't refuse a gift from Luo Yao, otherwise, it would only lead to one punishment. The countless assets in the dressing room were proof of this. It's beautiful, I love it. Truthfully, seeing Lu Ruxue with Lin Ran, she had almost lost control just now. Lin Ran hadn't expected Luo Yao to be so easily appeased. A few words and a small gift had calmed her anger, just like a little girl. If others knew what Lin Ran was thinking, they would be shocked to death. The ruthless and decisive Luo Yao was a little girl? You must be joking. Aran, kiss me. Lin Ran froze, looking around. Who? Where was everyone? Where was Uncle Fu? The bodyguards? The assistant? The shop assistants? Lin Ran naturally lowered his head and kissed her, and Luo Yao reached out and hugged him tightly. Aran, why? Why did you lie to me? Let me enjoy the present. If you run away in the future, I will really go crazy. After a long while, Luo Yao's eyes became hazy. Aran, I want... Lin Ran was startled. Here? Shall we go home? Luo Yao nodded. The two arrived at the parking lot. Luo Yao pulled Lin Ran into a custom-made Maybach. Someone would naturally deal with the car Lin Ran drove. As the car started, the motorcade drove out of the parking lot. Even in the heavy traffic, other cars still made way for the Maybach and Koenigsegg. A private car driver sneered. What's so good about luxury cars? They're not as stable as our 100,000 yuan car. His wife beside him gave a knowing smile. Is it possible that the people inside are communicating? Driver. Holy crap. Wife. How did you know? Driver. My wife is truly knowledgeable. The vehicles entered the estate. The driver and Lu Ming tactfully got out of the car. No one intended to call the people in the car to get out because no one wanted to die. The people inside the car hadn't gotten out yet. Aran, call me Luo Yao. Not that. Wife. Say it again. Baby. Luo Yao liked Lin Ran like this. At this moment, Aran was very cute. The car was filled with romance. Luo Yao stared at Lin Ran. Why? Why what? Why are you suddenly so good to me? Because I love you. Luo Yao didn't believe him, but she didn't want to endlessly pursue the reason. She was afraid that she would truly guess something that would make him despair. If Aran left her, she would truly go crazy and die. How many gifts have you given Lu Ruxue? Lin Ran's whole body jolted. He didn't understand why Luo Yao's train of thought jumped so quickly. A deadly question? I've given gifts to many people since I was a child, my brothers, close friends, and classmates, but only the gifts I give you are given with the sincerity of someone who loves you. This answer was considered passable in Luo Yao's heart. Remember, from now on, you can only give gifts to one woman, me. Lin Ran? Yes, ma'am. After the two got out of the car, Uncle Fu immediately had the servants prepare dinner. Lin Ran proactively fed Luo Yao, spoonful by spoonful, chopstick by chopstick. Only after feeding the little devil did he start eating himself. Late at night, after diligently working, Lin Ran fell asleep. Luo Yao quietly clung to him, as if she wanted to melt him into her body. Aran, did he choose to stay because of her body? If only that were the case. After a long while, Luo Yao shook her head. Could it be that because she had always had people by his side, everything that happened during the day was an act? Him breaking ties with the Lin family and drawing a clear line with Lu Rushue, all of this, was it to protect them? Because Aran knew that she might use them as leverage to keep him by her side? No. Aran, you can't do this to me. The more she thought, the more afraid she became. A cold sweat covered Luo Yao's body. She slowly got up and couldn't help but look back at Lin Ran as she left the room. She walked alone towards the secret room. At some point, in a daze, Lin Ran seemed to see a stunningly beautiful woman applying something. Early in the morning, Lin Ran saw Uncle Fu as he went downstairs and said somewhat awkwardly, "Uncle Fu, that invigorating soup?" Uncle Fu gave a knowing smile. "It's already prepared for young master." Lin Ran felt a little embarrassed, as if he wasn't up to the task. It was just that their young miss was insatiable, all right. Although he enjoyed it too, this couldn't go on forever. Arriving at the dining room, he found Luo Yao was already there. "Don't you have to work today?" Luo Yao nodded. "It's the weekend. Urgent matters can be handled at home." For some reason, Lin Ran felt that Luo Yao was acting strangely. Feeding the little devil had already become Lin Ran's habit. Every time he fed her, he felt a sense of satisfaction welling up from within. His wife looked so elegant eating. His wife looked beautiful and alluring drinking soup. His wife's gaze when she looked at him was captivating. Everything about her was perfect. The weekend was wonderful and cozy, and Lin Ran, having tasted the forbidden fruit, continued to savor it until the evening of the next day. Luo Yao, "Want a drink?" Lin Ran, "Okay." If his wife wanted to drink, he would accompany her even if it meant risking his life. Although he couldn't hold his liquor, although he didn't know why they were drinking. Luo Yao got up and took a bottle from the wine cabinet. "Mount I? Seriously, Baijio? Forget it, forget it." As long as she was happy. On the way back to the dining table, Luo Yao felt a sharp pain in her leg, stumbled, and the moutai in her hand flew out. Lin Ran reacted quickly, spinning 360 degrees, one hand supporting Luo Yao's waist and the other catching the falling moutai. "Silly girl, be careful." The ambiguous touch made Luo Yao's heart skip a beat, a feeling only Lin Ran could evoke. "Stupid dog, hold still." Stupid dog? Fine. He had been quite the dog in his past life. A few sips of alcohol down, Lin Ran started to get hazy, many words wanting to pour out. Luo Yao narrowed her eyes. She knew Lin Ran couldn't hold his liquor. Glass after glass, until the entire bottle was gone, Lin Ran was spinning. "Wife, are you troubled? Why are you flying in the sky?" Luo Yao stood up and scooped Lin Ran into a princess carry, his body nestled in her arms. Wife, you're so strong. Are you going to the Olympics? Why are there two rabbits running in front of my eyes?" She placed Lin Ran on the bed in the bedroom. Lin Ran shuddered. "Wife, I admit I'm done. You've completely drained me. We do it at least 10 times a day. What decent person could handle that?" Listening to Lin Ran's boasts, Luo Yao fell silent. However, the constant calls of wife were very pleasing to her ears. It seemed she could get him drunk more often. "Aran, do you still like Lu Rushue?" Lin Ran jolted upright. "Lu Rushue? Is she a person or a ghost?" Are you Lu Rushue?" Lin Ran's gaze at Luo Yao became increasingly hazy. Luo Yao's face grew colder. After a moment's thought, she put on a sweet voice. "It's me, brother Lin Ran. Don't you like me anymore?" As she spoke, she reached out to support Lin Ran, afraid he would fall. Unexpectedly, Lin Ran recoiled as if he had touched something disgusting. "Don't touch me. I'm afraid of getting dirty." "Dirty? Then Yao Yao won't like me anymore." Yao Yao. Luo Yao liked this nickname too. Or rather, she liked all the names Lin Ran called her. Who is Yao Yao? Lin ran. I told you not to touch me. I'll have to wash up later. Yao Yao is, of course, my wife. My master, my sky. The person I love the most. And the person who loves me most in this world. Luo Yao froze, unable to believe these words were coming from Lin Ran's mouth. If he truly loved her this much, why had he never shown it before, and instead only displayed disgust and fear towards her? Looking at Lin Ran's state, Luo Yao narrowed her eyes. Could he be sober? Or was this the classic 7 parts drunk, acting till you cry scenario? Aran, it's Rushua. Do you really not love me anymore? Lin Ran, I love you less than a dog. After these words, Lin Ran collapsed onto the bed. Looking at the peacefully sleeping Lin Ran, Luo Yao gently undressed him and covered him with a blanket. Whether from exhaustion or genuine drunkenness, Lin Ran seemed to see his past life. He saw the woman who went mad for him. Aran, I caught you. I want to marry you. Marry me. Why won't you listen? Why won't you marry me? If Aran doesn't want to be with me, then let's go to hell together. Aran, be good. Just a little more obedient, and you won't be in pain. If you run again, I'll kill you, dig out your heart and liver, and put them in my body. Aran, don't leave me, okay? I only have you. We're married, look. I'm wearing a wedding dress for you, am I pretty? It's so nice to die with you. When we get down there, can you look at me more? The final image stopped at the two of them in a crystal coffin. So beautiful, so beautiful. Amongst the myriad twinkling lights, there really was one waiting for me. This is our tomb, and also our home. But my body feels a bit uncomfortable, like it's about to explode. Opening his eyes, Lin Ran's head throbbed, and his bladder was about to burst. In the dim moonlight, he saw a beautiful and alluring figure applying something again and again. Why again? Up! With Lin Ran's groan, Luo Yao's movements stopped abruptly. Regardless of whether Lin Ran's words were true or false, genuine or an act, they did stabilize Luo Yao's emotions. Otherwise, she really might have entered that secret room again and again, the room where she could only calm herself by hurting herself. All the wounds were carefully treated, not a single one missed. Because if scars were left, Aran wouldn't like them. She didn't want Lin Ran to know about these, much less reveal her scars to him. She wanted to strive to be the person Lin Ran liked, but she knew she couldn't. Thirsty? Lin Ran. Luo Yao, what are you doing? An icy aura instantly descended, causing Lin Ran to shiver. Could it be? Wife, what are you doing? The aura instantly vanished, and Lin Ran thought to himself, it's even better than air conditioning. Luo Yao. Nothing. Couldn't sleep. Lin Ran got up to go to the bathroom, while Luo Yao poured him a glass of water. Returning, Lin Ran's head still pounded, and his mouth was parched. Luo Yao. Drink some water. Why feed me? Lin Ran's bold request gave Luo Yao pause. But without hesitation, she took a large mouthful of water, held it in her mouth, and then kissed him. Feeling the cool liquid flow in, Lin Ran's Adam's apple bobbed up and down as he slowly opened his eyes. Enough. Not enough. Want more? Yes. The entire glass of water was transferred to Lin Ran, finally seemingly satisfying him. If the lights were turned on at this moment, Lin Ran would be surprised to see Luo Yao's slightly flushed cheeks. But it was often in these dim, hazy moments that one could better appreciate the beauty of the person before them. Wife, you're so beautiful. A moment of silence. After saying this, Lin Ran once again entered the realm of sparring with Duke Zhou in his dreams. Lying beside Lin Ran, Luo Yao also began to drift off. A woman with severe insomnia. Yet only beside Lin Ran could she catch a few moments of sleep. Only with Lin Ran beside her could she grasp that sliver of peace. If she could, Luo Yao wanted to use any means to keep Lin Ran by her side, even if it meant being cruel. Aran, when will you come back to me? The next day, Lin Ran woke up refreshed, once again a lively and energetic young man. This was one of the few times he had been able to properly rest since his rebirth. Luo Yao still didn't go to the company today, handling work at the estate. She felt that living here with Lin Ran until they grew old wouldn't be bad. But she knew she couldn't. So now she wanted to seize every moment with Lin Ran. If she didn't keep moving forward, countless people would climb over her corpse to ascend. By then, Lin Ran certainly wouldn't have a good ending either. Therefore, she had to be ruthless, using all her innermost ruthlessness on her enemies until no one could stand in her way, and then give all her tenderness to Lin Ran. Today, lawyer Sukai finally delivered Lin Ran's newly issued household registration booklet. Mr. Lin Tianba still has no intention of handing over the dividends. I've made arrangements to file a lawsuit. However, before filing, I need to confirm with you. After all, you are biologically father and son. Lin Ran scoffed. Apart from contributing a sperm, he hasn't fulfilled any responsibilities. Go ahead. Let the old man face reality. It's best to put him behind bars. Having received Lin Ran's confirmation, Su Kai excused himself and left. The first thing Lin Ran thought of after getting the household registration booklet was to find Luo Yao and get their marriage license. He was startled by his own thought. Although Luo Yao wore a wedding dress for him in the previous life, Lin Ran sometimes couldn't figure out whether Luo Yao truly wanted him or if it was some other obsession. He also wasn't sure if Luo Yao wanted to make their relationship public. Entering the study, Luo Yao was facing the computer with a blank expression. Lin Ran was extremely careful with each step, not making a single sound, until he quietly reached Luo Yao's side and kissed her face. Good morning kiss. Luo Yao was stunned by Lin Ran's sudden appearance, then immediately heard her own heartbeat, the corners of her mouth curving into a beautiful arc. Turning around, she gave Lin Ran a passionate French kiss. This is a good morning kiss. Lin Ran scratched his head, thinking his wife was fierce. Luo Yao. How do you feel? Lin Ran. Feels great. It would be even better if the kiss lasted longer. Luo Yao. I mean, how is your body? Lin Ran. My head is still a little dizzy, but my body is definitely not weak. We can go another 300 rounds. Luo Yao narrowed her eyes. Didn't you say you wanted to be restrained? Lin Ran patted his chest. Haven't I rested all night? Besides, I want to discuss something with you, that is, he said, turning to look at Luo Yao's computer. Then he saw a group of people with jaws dropped, looking stunned. Lin Ran froze, swallowing the "let's go get our marriage license" that was about to come out. He just wanted to see what Luo Yao was doing, but unexpectedly, she was in a video conference. Seriously? You, a CEO, are having a meeting at home? Luo Yao didn't show any embarrassment. She just gently closed the laptop. As the boss's video connection in the conference room turned black, the executives couldn't sit still. Did I see that right? Who was that little handsome guy just now? Our boss actually likes men? I thought she hated men. Speaking of which, that little brother is really handsome. He looks so good with CEO Luo. I don't think so. Maybe it's CEO Luo's younger brother. Does your younger brother play like that with you? If so, I can only say 2 words. Awesome. It's also possible that it's CEO Luo's kept man, but I think this is the first time I've seen CEO Luo smile. She actually smiles? Why not keep me? I can be a dog too. You're too ugly. Anyway, it's good to know that CEO Luo likes men. Sometimes I'm really afraid that CEO Luo will make a move on me. My sexual orientation is normal, although CEO Luo also fits my aesthetic cough. But I like men. I don't like the same sex. Even if CEO Luo liked women, she wouldn't like you. You don't have the potential to be a kept man. I'm curious, who's on top when CEO Luo is with this little handsome guy? It must be CEO Luo. Do you even have to ask? That's good. I hope a man can nourish CEO Luo's heart and make her a little bit gentler. Otherwise, every day I see CEO Luo, I feel like I'm on death row. It's too scary. Lu Ming. Discussing the boss during a meeting. If you don't want to live, don't drag me down. I'm logging off first. Everyone. The meeting is over? Special Assistant Lu has logged off. Let's log off too. Anyway, if the sky falls, Special Assistant Lu will hold it up. In the villa, Lin Ran was a little dazed, not because of embarrassment, but because of shyness. and worried that he had caused trouble for Luo Yao. Luo Yao, what did you want to discuss with me? Lin Ran no longer had the heart to talk about getting a marriage license and asked hesitantly. That, I didn't cause you any trouble, did I? Luo Yao found Lin Ran's flustered appearance amusing and shook her head. No, I agreed. Agreed to what? Could it be that she knew he got the household registration booklet and wanted to get a marriage license with her? That would be too amazing. I agreed that you can freely leave the manor, but on the condition that you don't run away. And report to me at any time. Come home every night to accompany me. And don't go looking for Lu Rushua. If you can't do this, I'll capture Lu Rushua and your family and torture them. Lin Ran, there's such a good thing. Actually, I didn't want to talk about that. I wanted to say, that is, I got the household registration booklet, and I want to go get our marriage license with you. Luo Yao looked at Lin Ran seriously and didn't speak for a long time. Actually, whether or not they got a marriage license wasn't important to Luo Yao. What was important was whether Lin Ran was by her side. As long as he could always be by her side, she didn't even mind if they never got married. But for ordinary people, she naturally understood the significance of a marriage license. Did Ran want to make their relationship public? Or was he trying to appease her and then take the opportunity to escape? If they got married, would Ran acknowledge her as his wife outside? Various thoughts raced through Luo Yao's mind. Seeing Luo Yao's silence, Lin Ran felt a little disappointed. She seems unwilling, or perhaps doesn't want to make their relationship public. If you don't want to, forget it. I don't mean anything else. Before he could finish, Luo Yao grabbed his collar and pulled him out. Feeling Luo Yao's strength, Lin Ran was dumbfounded. Wait, where did this seemingly frail body get so much strength? In his previous life, in order to resist Luo Yao, Lin Ran had also trained for a long time, but in the end, he couldn't escape her grasp. He just thought it was because the people around Luo Yao were too strong. Now it seems that Luo Yao herself is also incredibly strong. She dragged him all the way to the door and threw him into the car, then got in herself. Without a word, she drove straight to their destination. Luo Yao, it's not that I want to get a marriage license with you. When they reappeared, they both had an extra document in their hands. Luo Yao, it's just to fulfill a small request of yours. That's it? It felt a little surreal. Luo Yao, I owe you a wedding and a ring. Luo Yao, I don't want your ring. I just want you to be ravaged by me. Choose the ring you like. Lin Ran, when I earn money, I'll definitely buy you the most beautiful ring. Luo Yao shook her head. What's mine is yours. The black card I gave you has a 10 billion credit limit. If it's not enough, tell me. I can give you all my money. You can use it to buy whatever ring you want. Lin Ran, how much credit? A black card? Lin Ran knew that card. It was in the storage cabinet in the villa's cloakroom, but he had never used it. Inside, there were also many other things. Luxury car titles, property deeds, gold bars, bank cards. A wife with both beauty and wealth, willing to spend on him. Where could he find such a good wife? Was he possessed in his previous life? That he couldn't see his wife's goodness? I really deserve to die. No, I want to earn money and buy it myself. Feeling Luo Yao's face gradually turning cold, Lin Ran cupped her face in his hands. Luo Yao, look at me. I am your man. This family can't only rely on your contributions. I need to earn money too. If it were for my own use, I would spend it. I wouldn't hesitate to spend my wife's money. But for your gift, I want to earn the money myself. After he said this, Luo Yao's expression softened. Understood. Don't call me by my name in the future. Then what should I call you? Wife? Yao Yao. My little darling. Whatever you like. Then I'll call you different names as long as you don't change. Actually, Luo Yao wanted to tell Lin Ran that he didn't need to work so hard, because her wealth, even if he started a business, was enough for him to squander for several lifetimes. But she didn't want to discourage Lin Ran, so she could only suppress her thoughts. If Lin Ran wanted to make money, then let him. Perhaps this was just a man's little bit of pride. Lin Ran was now willing to accept and try to spend her money, which meant he might be slowly accepting her. This was already progress. Touching the bracelet on her wrist, which wasn't particularly expensive. Luo Yao felt that this was happiness. Lin ran. Luo Yao, can I post on my moments? Luo Yao frowned, and Lin Ran cursed himself for being an idiot. Yao Yao, wife, baby, can I post on my moments? Luo Yao nodded. Of course, Ran can do anything. Lin Ran took a picture of their two hands holding their marriage certificate and directly posted it on his moments. Taken. Love my wife. This post instantly caused a huge stir. First were his classmates, then his instructor, then many of the people he had worked odd jobs with, and his best friend, Wu Zhishang. Everyone's comments were all? Only Wu Zhishang asked, is it with Lu Rushue? As for Lu Rushue and the Lin family, they couldn't see Lin Rant's moments because they were blocked. Soon, Wu Zhishang's call came. As soon as it connected, he started asking, Dude, what's going on? Did you get a marriage certificate with Lu Rushue? Lin Ran replied, Not Lu Rushue. I have nothing to do with Lu Rushue anymore. Then who? Bro, we can't just marry anyone because we can't get Lu Rushue. It's not just anyone. It's true love, beautiful, sweet voice, and a little rich woman. Wu Zhishang was petrified. After a long time, holy crap, UXX at hashtag UN%. Lin Ran. All right, stop being sour. We'll meet tomorrow and talk. Wu Zhishang. X at hashtag UN%. Lin Ran. Meet at the dorm tomorrow. I'll bring you in on something big. Wu Zhishang. X at hashtag UN%. Lin Ran. My game account is yours. Wu Zhishang. All right, bro. That night, Lin Ran's mark became even more prominent. Seeing the still clear bite mark on his shoulder, Luo Yao furrowed her beautiful brows. This mark, I don't want to use scar removal cream. This is what Yao Yao left me. I want it to be imprinted here forever. To tell the whole world that I'm yours. Luo Yao looked up at Lin Ran, her eyes sparkling. Is that what you think? Lin Ran nodded. Only this way can I feel your presence at any time. Lin Ran smiled inwardly, using her tone to talk to her. Would it leave her speechless? The next day, Lin Ran felt the mark was even deeper. Is this girl a dog or a wolf? While eating breakfast, Lin Ran suddenly looked up at the clock on the wall and smiled. This action startled Butler Fu. Lin Ran didn't say anything and continued eating breakfast while saying, Butler Fu, you don't need to follow me when I go out. It's a bit uncomfortable. You can ask Luo Yao. Don't worry, I won't run away again. Butler Fu shook his head and went to call Luo Yao. He came back after a while. Miss said it's okay. Lin Ran didn't hate being monitored by Luo Yao, but he was thinking that he would have to go to school later, and it would be too conspicuous to have a group of bodyguards following him everywhere. After breakfast, Lin Ran drove his Koenigsegg out of the estate. Through the rearview mirror, he saw a commercial vehicle following him not too far behind, as he had expected. Not having Butler Fu follow was just a superficial facade. Now he had gained a lot of freedom and could leave the estate at will. Of course, he knew in his heart that no matter where he went, someone would be watching him. This was unavoidable. After all, Luo Yao's love for him carried a strong possessiveness, but he didn't seem to hate this feeling. The reason he hated it before was because he didn't like Luo Yao's dominance. Now that he had decided to accept Luo Yao and love her, he naturally had to accept some of her quirks, including that morbid possessiveness. But it didn't matter, as long as it wasn't too conspicuous. Secret surveillance was fine. This could also give Luo Yao some peace of mind. Lin Ran didn't object and didn't plan to expose it. And Luo Yao, who had already arrived at her office, was staring at her phone screen in a daze. She had just seen Lin Ran smile at the camera and felt a chill down her spine. But she felt slightly relieved when Lin Ran seemed to have noticed nothing. Kyoto University. It wasn't the start of the school year yet, but many students were still living on campus, including Lin Ran's friend, Wu Zhishang. Lin Ran parked his car in the outdoor parking lot on campus, returned to his former dormitory, and found his best friend, Wu Zhishang. In his past life, after learning of Lin Ran's death, this friend was the one who cried the hardest, like a grandson mourning his grandfather. Often, Only death can reveal who truly cares about you. For this reason alone, Lin Ran would ensure his prosperity and save him, never letting him follow the same path as in his past life. Lin Ran clearly remembered that Wu Zhishang would soon suffer a series of misfortunes. The day after his death, Wu Zhishang, driving drunk, got into a car accident and broke both his legs, confining him to a wheelchair. This would be considered tragic in any story. Now, Wu Zhishang liked to squat on the toilet. At a crucial moment, his phone slipped from his hand. After a moment's thought, he actually grabbed a pair of chopsticks and, fighting back nausea, tried to retrieve it. It wasn't that the phone was so important, but the data inside. "Old Wu, what's wrong with you? Why are you eating shit?" Wu Zhishang turned his head, stunned, and saw his good friend Lin Ran, who had come to meet him. His hand trembled, and the phone he just picked up fell back in. Lin Ran naturally noticed Wu Zhishang's predicament. His laughter echoed through the dormitory. "Lin, it's not what you think. My phone fell in." Lin Ran. Right, whatever you say. You really misunderstood. I'm just getting my phone." Right. Getting your phone. And a little something extra. Damn it. Wu Zhishang wanted to curse. When the phone was back in his hand, Wu Zhishang washed and wiped it repeatedly. Lin Ran almost vomited, keeping his distance the entire time. "Old Wu, you're truly something else. Even down on your luck, you shouldn't eat that. I'm impressed." Ugh. With his phone lost and found, Wu Zhishang wasn't as upset anymore. He asked, "So, what's going on with you, old man?" Lin Ran's reply was non sequitur. "Did you get your internship certificate?" Wu Zhishang shook his head. "I've been working part-time all summer. I haven't had time for an internship." Lin Ran. "Well, I'm starting a media company. I want you to be a blogger." Wu Zhishang was incredulous. "A blogger? Or an investor?" Lin Ran nodded. "A blog." Wu Zhishang's eyes widened. "Dude, what are you talking about? You're doing worse than me, an ordinary student, even with the Lin family background. Where do you have the money to start a company? My wife has money, even if your wife has." "Wait, who is your wife anyway?" It was as if Wu Zhishang had just remembered the reason he asked Lin Ran to meet him. He was extremely curious. "Lin Ran, secret." Wu Zhishang. "Then you must be lying." "I knew it. You're a bit handsome, but you couldn't even get Lu Rushue, so how could you possibly?" Lin Ran took out his phone and shoved a photo of his marriage certificate in Wu Zhishang's face. "My wife is a rich woman, rich and beautiful, 3 years older than me. As the saying goes, a wife 3 years older brings gold. I don't have a gold brick, I have a gold mountain." After a few minutes of Lin Ran's explanation, Wu Zhishang stomped his feet and beat his chest. "You should be dead. This is worse than killing me." "Art." After crying for a bit, he asked, "Okay, even if you're starting a company, why do you want me to be a blogger?" Lin Ran glanced at Wu Zhishang. "Because you're dumb enough to attract traffic. And can you please stop waving that nasty phone in my face?" "Ugh." Wu Zhishang. "Damn it. Is there any justice? Is there any law?" However, Wu Zhishang was genuinely happy for Lin Ran. Firstly, Lin Ran had finally moved on from Lu Rushue. Secondly, Lin Ran had found his so-called true love. As his brother, he was naturally overjoyed. "Lin, since you're married, live a good life with your wife. Lu Rushue was never good enough for you. If I wasn't afraid of angering you, I would have told you that long ago. And I don't want to be a blogger. I want to be a manager." Actually, Wu Zhishang had advised Lin Ran before, but he stopped after one failed attempt. If Lin Ran was hurt by Lu Rushue, he would accompany him to drink, eat meat, and chase girls. If Lu Rushue somehow blossomed, he would offer his sincere blessings. This is what it meant to be brothers who grew up together. They had known each other since childhood, fought together, skipped class together, been punished together, and gone to university together. Do you even need to say it? Of course, I'll live a good life with my wife. I'll consider the manager thing, but can you please put your phone away first? Whoa! Take it away if you agree. You win. Of course, the manager position is yours. How could I? Ugh. Finally, Lin Ran succumbed to Wu Zhishang's phone attack. After settling on the details, the two went downstairs, planning to rent an office space right away. On the way to the parking lot, Lin Ran told Wu Zhishang about breaking ties with the Lin family. Wu Zhishang exclaimed again, praising Lin Ran's audacity. At that moment, in the parking lot, a group of people surrounded a car. I checked. This is a Koenigsegg 1:1. Only 6 were ever produced, and the price has been to 100 million. Whose car is this? Do we have a billionaire at our school? If this were my car, I'd be willing to live in a mansion and marry 8 wives. I need to take a picture. Everyone move aside. Rushue, come on, let's take a picture together. School was about to start, and Lu Rushue, as the school beauty, had been selected to perform in the welcome party. She was here today to register for the program, and she loved these opportunities to be in the spotlight. Hua Haney was accompanying her. Seeing Hua Haney beckoning her, Lu Rushue moved with seemingly elegant steps, a slight blush on her face. Is this really okay? Hua Haney pulled Lu Rushue closer. What's the big deal? We're just taking a picture for our Puyo-chin. Watching Lu Rushue and Hua Haney posing by the car, the surrounding students offered kind reminders. This is a $100 million car. You should be careful. Exactly. What if you damage it? Even if you're the school beauty, you couldn't afford to pay for it. I'm gonna wait here. I have to see who the heck drives a Koenigsegg to school. Look at the school beauty and Hua Haney. They look like 2 chickens. Not everyone liked Lu Rushue, especially some of the girls. They disdained Lu Rushue's seemingly pure, White Lotus act. They held even more contempt for Hua Haney, who lived off Lu Rushue's popularity. Hua Haney. What's there to be afraid of? Even if the owner comes, they'll be captivated by Rushue's beauty. Besides, it's just a picture. What can happen? As she spoke, she pulled Lu Rushue closer, and they both leaned halfway onto the silver-gray hood for a few pretty selfies. This scene happened to be witnessed by Lin Ran, who had just arrived. Who told you to take pictures? Hearing the familiar voice, Lu Rushue's hand trembled, and her phone clattered onto the hood. Damn it! Lin Ran wanted to curse. This was one of the gifts Luo Yao had given him, and this bitch's phone had just hit it. Lin Ran hurried to check the hood. Sure enough, there was a tiny scratch, the size of a grain of millet. Lu Rushue also noticed the small scratch, but didn't seem to care. Hua Haney, however, wasn't going to put up with Lin Ran. She still remembered how he had humiliated them last time. Lin Ran, what are you doing here? And don't touch this car. Do you know what kind of car this is? Can you afford to pay for the damages? Lu Rushue saw Lin Ran again and felt he had become even more handsome. What was going on? She actually felt a flutter in her heart. Lin Ran looked down at the scratch on the car, his heart aching. Pointing at the phone on the hood, he asked, Whose phone is this? Lu Rushue. Mine. Lin Ran. Then pay up. Hua Haney/Lu Rushue. Brother Lin Ran, school hasn't even started yet. Why are you here? Are you looking for me? Lin Ran nodded. Yes, I'm looking for you. You damaged my car. Pay up. Hua Haney laughed. Lin Ran, are you delusional? Do you know what kind of car this is? Why don't you just say you're a rich tycoon? Lin Ran thought. I'm not, but my wife is. Without further ado, he took out the car key and pressed it. The Koenigsegg responded. This scene stunned everyone around. This sports car, worth over 100 million, actually belonged to Lin Ran? Lin Ran was famous. Practically everyone at Jingdu University knew him. His fame came from 3 things. First, his looks. He was the recognized campus heartthrob, with countless pursuers, all of whom he rejected. Second, his obsequiousness. Such a handsome guy, yet he shamelessly fawned over Lu Rushue. Although Lu Rushue was beautiful and the campus belle, many people felt Lin Ran could do better. Like them, the girls who longed for him but were ruthlessly rejected. Third, his excellence. To win Lu Rushue's heart, Lin Ran made himself exceptionally accomplished. He won scholarships effortlessly, had excellent grades, could sing, dance, and rap, and was the campus heartthrob. Unfortunately, it was all for Lu Rushue. It was said that all his scholarship money was spent on her. Because he was so well known, everyone knew more about him. Lin Ran wasn't rich. The entire school knew that. How could a rich person work part-time every day? Now, This campus simp was claiming to own a Koenigsegg worth over 100 million. Who would believe it? Holy crap, that car belongs to Lin Ran? This is insane. Lu Rushua damaged the car. Lin Ran definitely won't make her pay. Not necessarily. Didn't you hear what Lin Ran said? He said pay up, and he looks really angry. Wouldn't you be angry if your car was damaged? If only Lin Ran could be my boyfriend. I didn't know Lin Ran was so rich, and he's handsome too. If I could sit in his passenger seat, I'd be willing to let him touch my leg or even marry him. Aren't you being a bit greedy? Knowing Lin Ran, this will probably just blow over. Wu Zhishang, standing nearby, was also shocked. Lin Ran had only said he drove. Not what he drove. He hadn't expected such an extravagant car. He'd heard people say it was worth 100 million. Damn, 100 million. The rich wife Lin Ran talked about was really rich. Ugh, it was so frustrating. He had been worried about Lin Ran suffering, and then worried about him driving a Land Rover. Now, he couldn't even bring himself to be jealous. The difference in status was too great. Composing himself, he walked over to Lin Ran and looked at the dumbfounded Lu Rushue and Hua Haney. Brother Lin, don't be too harsh. They only made a small scratch. For the sake of being classmates, just have them pay 100 or 200,000 and let it go. Hua Haney almost spat out blood, but then she thought something was wrong. You didn't rent this car, did you? Lin Ran. A luxury car worth over 100 million? Go rent one and show me. Hua Haney was taken aback. What Lin Ran said seemed to make sense, but something wasn't right. She knew Lin Ran's situation very well. Where did he get a luxury car? Even Lu Rushue was bewildered. She patted her head lightly, wondering if she was still dreaming. Lin Ran is this really your car? Where did you get the money to buy it? Or did you borrow it from someone? Lin Ran didn't bother explaining. No more talking. Pay up. Just like Lao Wu said, 1 million. If you can't pay, I'll take you to the police. Hua Haney immediately flew into a rage. Lin Ran, don't push it. 1 million? Are you crazy for money? Now, immediately, hand over the car keys and let Rushua drive this car. And then I'll consider persuading Rushua to give you a chance to get close to her. Lu Rushua started to act shy and coy, waiting for Lin Ran's response. Lin Ran, what the hell? Are you an idiot? Since you don't want to pay, I'll call the police. He then took out his phone and dialed the emergency number. Hello, I want to report a crime. Yes, that's right, they're threatening me to hand over my car keys. I believe I'm being coerced. Yes, at Jingdu University. As Lin Ran spoke clearly on the phone, both Lu Rushue and the onlookers realized he was serious. Hanging up, Lin Ran asked, So, can you pay now? The police will be here soon. After saying this, he contacted his insurance company. Lu Rushue certainly didn't have that much money. Her family relied on the Lin family's support for their modest assets, and she herself had little money. She usually lived a seemingly good life thanks to Lin Jian's handouts and Lin Ran's hard work. Hua Haney, we don't have that much money. Who knows if your broken-down car wasn't already damaged? It doesn't matter if you don't have the money. You can sell something. Hua Haney, you. Vulgar. Lin Ran looked at Lu Rushue. Or ask your brother Lin Jian, aren't you two? Very close. He emphasized the words very close, and Lu Rushue panicked, as if some unknown secret had been discovered. Cousin Lin Jian is just a student. Where would he get that much money? Cousin? Oh. Right. Your cousin. Since you're unwilling, then pay up. Lin Ran wasn't planning to expose Lu Rushue yet. He was going to find conclusive evidence and expose Lu Rushue and Lin Jian, this pair of cousins, on the spot. To destroy someone, you must first inflate their ego. The feeling of falling from the highest peak was truly exhilarating. Lu Rushue said with a wronged expression, Fine, I know I was wrong. How about this? I'll give you a chance to have dinner with me, and we'll call it even. Lin Ran was disgusted. Lu Rushue, can you stop disgusting me? You're like a pile of shit right now. Not only are you soft, but you also stink. Knowing you was a damn mistake. Lu Rushue, brother Lin Ran, why? Why are you treating me like this? Why? Lin Ran felt a chill and almost vomited on the spot. Lu Rushua's current level of disgust surpassed even Wu Zhishang's phone. Soon, the police and the insurance company arrived. For the police, this was a case of significant property damage. For the insurance company, this was a claim involving a substantial payout. Quickly, the insurance company's staff breathed a sigh of relief. It turned out not to be the car owner's fault. Then, they made a preliminary claim assessment for Lin Ran 2 million. Hearing this figure, everyone gasped. Lu Rushu stopped crying, and both she and Hua Haney turned pale. It's just a small scratch. How could it be so much money? Hua Haney naturally questioned. The staff member explained, although the scratch is small, it can't be repaired casually. The hood needs to be custom ordered from the manufacturer. And this car is a limited edition model, making repairs even more difficult. Even if the hood is replaced, the car will depreciate significantly. 2 million really isn't much. Mr. Lin is being very generous by only asking you to pay 1 million. The staff member naturally spoke up for Lin Ran, although he didn't think such a small scratch required such a fuss. But as long as Lin Ran insisted on repairing the car, someone had to pay. Hua Haney still hadn't given up, asking, "Are you sure this is Lin Ran's car?" The staff member replied, "Of course. This car arrived in Kyoto 3 months ago. The previous owner reluctantly auctioned it for 110 million, and it was auctioned to Mr. Lin. It was quite a big news story at the time. And I personally handle Mr. Lin's insurance. Although I didn't have the opportunity to meet Mr. Lin in person, the documents clearly state that the owner is Mr. Lin." Hua Haney's heart sank. She never dreamed that Lin Ran would be so rich. Lin Ran had always been an unwelcome dog in the Lin family in her eyes. Although he was a bit handsome, what use was being handsome? It couldn't be eaten. Now Lin Ran was not only incredibly handsome, but also incredibly rich, although she didn't know where he got the money. Coupled with Lin Ran's character of always giving his all for a woman. From this perspective, Lin Ran suddenly became an excellent marriage prospect. Thinking of this, Hua Haney's gaze instantly changed from disdain to fervor. If Lin Ran really didn't like Lu Rushu anymore, could she give it a try? Lu Rushu was thunderstruck. She knew Lin Ran better, so her shock was even greater than Hua Haney's. The upright police officer had finished his questioning. Because there were so many witnesses, Lu Rushu and Hua Haney couldn't deny it. After a brief investigation, the officer gave his advice. Given the large sum of compensation involved, I suggest you settle this privately. Of course, you can also file a lawsuit with the court. The officer clearly didn't want to deal with this kind of thing. If there was no dispute between the two parties, he didn't even want to take them back to the station for statements. He didn't want to provoke the rich kid with the luxury car. Lu Rushu and Hua Haney were scared, especially Hua Haney, who looked at Lin Ran ingratiatingly. Lin Ran, even if Rushu was at fault, putting aside the facts, aren't you also at fault? Why did you park your car in such an easily noticeable spot? Lin Ran really didn't want to argue with this woman. Her statement was just too outrageous. Can you stop talking? I have a phobia of huge things. Just pay the money. Hua Haney/Lu Rushu. Wu Zhishang added, Brother Lin is afraid of huge idiots. The two women were about to explode with anger. Hua Haney decided to go for broke. Our Rushu didn't do it on purpose. Lin Ran. Whether it was intentional or not, pay up. Since you two are such good friends, 500,000 each. Hua Haney. I didn't hit the car, it was Lu Rushu's phone. Take it up with her. After saying that, she left without looking back. Lu Rushu was stunned, then filled with disbelief. In the end, in order to avoid being arrested, Lu Rushu wrote an IOU for 1 million, and Lin Ran finally let her go. Lu Rushu. Lin Ran, I didn't know you were this kind of person. You're so rich, and you kept it from me. I hate you. Why? She ran off, utterly humiliated. The incident was posted on the school forum by gossiping students, instantly becoming the latest gossip. Bro, my dear bro. Seeing Wu Zhishang gazing longingly at the Koenigsegg, Lin Ran tossed him the keys. I can't fulfill your wishes, but Daddy can fulfill his son's wishes. Wu Zhishang. All right, Godfather. Driving a luxury car for the first time, Wu Zhishang carefully started the engine, attracting the envy of the surrounding onlookers. Brother Lin, I really envy you. Just how big a bowl of soft rice did you eat? Even a Koenigsegg is in your name. Lin ran, not that big, just a few dozen properties, a few dozen luxury cars, and 100 billion or so in pocket money. Wu Zhishang, like a blind man buying a trumpet, you're really good at blowing your own horn. Believe it or not. After a full day, the two finally rented an office space, right across from the Luo Corporation. This time, Lin Ran used the black card Luo Yao had given him. After dropping Wu Zhishang back at Kyoto University, Lin Ran gave him some advice. He told him not to tell his girlfriend about the company yet. Wouldn't it be better to surprise her after the company has taken off? Although Wu Zhishang didn't understand, he agreed. Ultimately, the company was able to start thanks to Lin Ran. He was just basking in his friend's glory. In the Luo Corporation office, Luo Yao, who was about to lose control of her emotions because of Lin Ran and Lu Ruscha meeting again, finally calmed down after learning that Lin Ran had used the money on the black card. Lin Ran spending her money made her feel better than spending it herself. The Lin family had always kept Lin Ran on a tight budget. As his wife, she insisted on giving him the most luxurious lifestyle. But the thought of Lin Ran seeing Lu Rushu on campus made her turn icy cold again. Lu Meng, who was working alongside her, constantly adjusted her own mood according to Luo Yao's fluctuating emotions. Young Master Lin, please stop causing trouble. On the surface, you're tormenting CEO Luo. But in reality, you're making things difficult for us workers. Why make things so hard for us? Returning to the manor after a busy day, Lin Ran immediately saw the figure he had missed so much, despite only being apart for a few hours. Luo Yao wasn't as gentle as he'd imagined. Instead, she looked at him with a murderous glint in her eyes. Lin Ran had met with Lu Rushu again today. Why couldn't he be more obedient? Although her subordinates had reported everything that happened, all Luo Yao could think about was that Lin Ran had met with Lu Rushu. No matter what was said or what happened, it couldn't change the fact that they had met. Lin Ran couldn't believe that even after humiliating Lu Rushu like that, it would still make Luo Yao jealous. So, the bewildered Lin Ran was injured. Injured in his kidneys, which felt empty and hollowed out. Ran, are you going to meet with Lu Rushu again? Damn, so that was the reason. Lu Rushu, why don't you just die? You're always causing my wife to misunderstand me. Ow! This time, Luo Yao didn't show any mercy. She bit Lin Ran's shoulder. A small lesson. Next time, I won't be so lenient. Lin Ran felt like crying. Wife, it really wasn't my fault. It was all a coincidence. I can't avoid her every day, can I? Why don't you just kill her? Luo Yao seemed to see through Lin Ran's little trick. Would you really let me? Of course. I'd love for you to slaughter her. Get her out of my sight. Hearing this, Luo Yao finally felt a sliver of comfort, pondering the truthfulness of Lin Ran's words. Lin Ran gently caressed every inch of Luo Yao's skin, trying to soothe her, then suddenly frowned slightly. Is your leg injured? Luo Yao panicked and quickly retracted her leg. I bumped it accidentally. Lin Ran suddenly remembered Luo Yao applying something while he was asleep. Could it have been scar removal cream? His wife was injured, and he only just noticed? He didn't know why, but Lin Ran felt a pang of guilt. Upon closer inspection, he found the wound was almost healed, barely visible to the naked eye, only perceptible by touch. Lin Ran wasn't relieved, but rather blamed himself for his carelessness. I'm sorry, I was negligent. I deserve to die. Punish me. Luo Yao's eyes lit up. Then I'll punish you by making you go stargazing with me. Okay. Under the starry sky, Lin Ran held Luo Yao's hand and led her to the rooftop garden. He wanted to talk to her, but before he could say anything, Luo Yao covered his mouth, as if not wanting him to continue. She was afraid her vulnerability would be discovered by her Ran. She didn't want him to worry. The starry sky is always beautiful because it gives people endless fantasies and yearnings. In the villa's rooftop garden, Luo Yao was particularly passionate at this moment, until they were both exhausted again and nestled together, quietly gazing at the stars. Lin ran. I knew this stargazing wasn't so simple. Luo Yao. Do you like stargazing? Lin ran. I like stars, but I like you more. Luo Yao stared at the starry sky, lost in thought. You know, when I was little, a big brother told me that the stars aren't beautiful, because when illusions are shattered, people will despair. Lin ran. Then that big brother definitely wasn't me, because I'm younger than you. He honestly felt a little disappointed for some reason. Luo Yao ignored Lin Ran's feelings and continued on her own. I used to think he was right, but now I might change my mind. She turned and looked at Lin Ran seriously. Because you are my star, even if one day you are destroyed, you will still be beautiful. It's just that I hope, if the dream ever shatters, you'll lie to me for a little longer, okay? Lin ran. Then I will be your brightest star forever, never extinguished. Luo Yao nodded, choosing to believe him at this moment. She extended the hand wearing the bracelet, interlocked her fingers with Lin Ran's, and declared her current happiness to the starry sky. The temperature in the rooftop garden was perfectly regulated, making it comfortable even for them to fall asleep in each other's arms. Wife, if you have something on your mind, you must tell me. Okay, otherwise I'll worry. I know. Meow. A cat's meow startled Lin Ran awake. He looked around and saw a black cat with blue eyes staring at him. Lin Ran turned to look at the sleeping Luo Yao. Chill. Be quiet. Don't disturb her rest. The black cat obediently ran off, leaving Lin Ran puzzled. Were there cats in this manner? The next morning, Lin Ran received news that was both good and bad. Luo Yao's period had started. I'll let you off the hook for the next few days. Take good care of yourself. Lin Ran didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Are you planning to fatten me up before the slaughter? After breakfast, Luo Yao left without hesitation, not showing any sign of reluctance. Lin Ran even wondered if he had become useless. Use him and lose him. Woman, you've successfully ignited my anger. Lin Ran and Wu Zhishang continued to work on the company, spending the morning completing the registration. The registered name was Nuan Yao Media. In addition to short video production, the business scope also included live streaming, original music, film and television production, and other services. Lin Ran didn't want to work for others. He wanted a higher starting point. From anchors to actors, including the operation and public relations teams, everyone would be his own people. Being reborn gave him a lot of information advantages, such as the future hit films and TV series, short videos, and the rising traffic stars. The two discussed the next steps, which was basically just Wu Zhishang getting assigned all the work. Lin ran. Bro, I'm still on my honeymoon. How can I have time to manage the company? Wu Zhishang. How long is your honeymoon? Lin ran. Forever. Wu Zhishang. Damn it. Just kill me. Why you get to go on your honeymoon while I have to work my ass off? Lin ran. Because I'm the boss. If you don't want a salary, you can slack off too. Wu Zhishang. Forget I said anything. Lin Ran's offer to Wu Zhishang was straightforward. Industry standard base salary, with bonuses tied to performance. Clear accounts between brothers. Wu Zhishang had no objections to this. In addition, Lin Ran gave Wu Zhishang 5% of the shares. Wu Zhishang didn't want them, but Lin Ran insisted he take them, for no other reason than Wu Zhishang having cried at his grave. While they were having lunch, Lin Ran received a call from lawyer Su Kai. Mr. Lin Tianba wants to personally discuss the dividend distribution with you. Lin Ran could imagine Lin Tianba's current state of anger and helplessness, having no choice but to seek reconciliation. He could even guess what Lin Tianba would say at the meeting. After completely abandoning the shackles of family affection, Lin Ran felt his mind become exceptionally clear. There's no need to meet. Tell him to prepare the money, and that's it. Everything else is off the table. It felt so good to cuddle with his wife. School was about to start, and he wanted to dedicate all his time to Luo Yao. Love wasn't just about sex. It needed seasoning, like companionship. Of course, sex was definitely essential. Before returning to the manor, Lin Ran carefully selected a gift. He couldn't shake the feeling that someone was watching him. Luo Yao really didn't trust him at all. Shaking his head, he returned to the manor alone. Every time Lin Ran returned, the old butler breathed a sigh of relief. Ever since Lin Ran stopped letting him follow, he'd become even more cautious. If this young master went missing, the young miss would turn the entire city of Kyoto upside down. Of course, the young miss wasn't foolish. She never relaxed her protection of Lin Ran, which could also be considered surveillance. When Luo Yao returned to the manor, Lin Ran naturally greeted her with hugs and kisses, then presented his prepared gift. Luo Yao opened the gift box curiously. It was a beautiful thermos. "What's this?" Lin Ran's understanding of Luo Yao wasn't just from a day or two. He naturally knew that she experienced painful periods. He knew in his past life, but never cared. In this life, he didn't want to miss any opportunity to be good to her. "Isn't it that time of the month for you? I'm afraid you'll be in pain, so I thought I'd get you a thermos. I also prepared some heat packs, brown sugar, and red dates for you. You must take them with you tomorrow. This way, when you're working and using the thermos I gave you, you can think of me, right? And the thermos has a good meaning. It represents a lifetime, our lifetime." Luo Yao's eyes filled with barely perceptible emotion. In the past, it was always her giving. Lin Ran had never given her anything. These past few days, he'd given her a bracelet and now a thermos. To say she wasn't happy would be a lie, but she didn't show it overtly. Luo Yao was constantly restraining herself. She didn't want to be fooled by Lin Ran's current behavior, because all of this could be an act. "Thank you. How did you know I have painful periods?" The old butler standing to the side was tearing up. Young Master Lin was getting better and better to the young miss, even proactively caring about her health. This was what a real family looked like. "Wife, saying thank you is too formal. We're legally married. Doing something for my wife is perfectly reasonable and logical. As for how I know you have painful periods, it's because I'm observant. Do you really think your husband doesn't understand anything? And one more thing." Lin Ran whispered into Luo Yao's ear. "If your period ends quickly, we can continue having sex, right?" A glint flashed in Luo Yao's eyes. Could it be that Ran was with her just because he was attracted to her body? If that's the case, actually, it's not impossible now. "Oh," Lin Ran. "Wife, do you want me to fight a bloody battle?" No. It's not good for your health. I absolutely won't agree to such a request. Even if I die, even if I jump from here, it's not allowed." The butler, who had been listening with a flushed face, felt awkward and quietly retreated from their sight. However, when he heard Lin Ran say, "Even if I die, even if I jump from here," he couldn't help but pause. Why did that sound so familiar? Lin Ran had nothing to do in the afternoon and stayed at the villa, so he prepared ingredients in advance, intending to cook dinner for Luo Yao. This time, it was Western food, which Lin Ran was quite skilled at, and the taste was no worse than what you'd find in a restaurant. The skills he honed at the Lin family were unexpectedly being used for his wife. "We have a chef. You don't have to work so hard." Luo Yao truly didn't want Lin Ran to tire himself out, even though she thought the food was delicious. Lin Ran. "Cooking for my wife isn't hard work. It's clearly enjoyable." Lin Ran wasn't lying. He actually didn't like cooking. He never liked it at the Lin family, but he pretended to in order to please his relatives. But cooking for Luo Yao, just the thought of her coming home to eat the food he made filled his heart with an inexplicable sense of happiness. It turned out that whether someone liked doing something truly depended on who they were doing it for. "Just seeing you eat the food I made makes me so happy." Luo Yao smiled wryly to herself. Was she really going to be completely deceived by Ran? She didn't like eating the food this man made at all. "Feed me." Lin Ran cut a small piece of steak and brought it to Luo Yao's mouth. "Feed me with your mouth." Lin Ran. "Huh?" After reacting, Lin Ran, a grown man, actually blushed. Luo Yao felt satisfied seeing Lin Ran's shy expression, her little heart brimming with happiness. Lin Ran, enduring his embarrassment, slowly fed the steak to Luo Yao. Luo Yao declared the imported steak tasted excellent, so she decided to give Lin Ran a reward. Bite by bite, she ate away her worries, leaving only happiness. After dinner, Luo Yao went to the study to finish the important work she hadn't completed during the day. Lin Ran didn't follow, returning to the bedroom alone. He still remembered the embarrassing scene of his accidental appearance during Luo Yao's video conference last time. So he swore never to disturb Luo Yao's work in the study unless absolutely necessary. He bathed alone, went to bed alone, played on his phone alone, browsing through the live streams of small-time streamers who were popular in his past life, but hadn't yet risen to fame in this one, until his eyes could barely stay open and Luo Yao still hadn't returned to the room. He reluctantly turned off his phone and drifted off to sleep alone. Late at night, feeling something strange, Lin Ran slowly opened his eyes. Holy crap! Lin Ran almost cried out, but he held back. After a long while, Lin Ran's eyes widened in shock. You actually... Doesn't Ran like it? Lin Ran quickly shook his head, then nodded. Do you like it or not? Lin Ran took a deep breath and slowly exhaled. Wi-Fi. It feels really good, but forget it. I don't want to talk about it. Awkward, difficult to articulate. Lin Ran couldn't understand himself. Clearly, the person before him was his wife. Yet why was he still blushing at this moment? Is Ran shy? You haven't answered me yet. Lin Ran was at his wit's end. Did she really need this answer? I like it. I like it very much. Luo Yao was indeed Luo Yao. Her wildness and boldness were always shocking. Having received the desired answer, Luo Yao once again wrapped herself around Lin Ran like a snake. Consider this your reward. Sleep now. However, Lin Ran was now wide awake, filled with shock and delight. Lin Ran discovered that Luo Yao seemed to be a bit of a treasure trove. You never knew when she would surprise you. So, this is what his wife was like. Kyoto, the heart of Huaxia, was a bustling metropolis. But behind the prosperity, countless ordinary people struggled to survive. Zhang Xiaolong, exhausted, collapsed in his cheap basement apartment. He delivered takeout during the day, live-streamed singing performances at night, and spent the early morning hours writing and posting online for meager earnings. He only had 4 or 5 short hours in the morning to rest, but he couldn't stop. His gambling-addicted father, drug-addicted mother, and sickly younger sister all depended on him, broken as he was. He hated his parents, hated his own incompetence, but his sister was his only concern. She had just turned 18 and was about to start university. If Zhang Xiaolong didn't continue to work tirelessly to provide for his family, he feared what his parents might do to his sister. They might even sell her for money. He had to earn more, enough to take his sister away and keep her safe. Staring at the balance on his phone, Zhang Xiaolong calculated how much more he needed for his sister's tuition. Knock, knock, knock. The knock startled him, dragging his weary body to the door. He was met with a devastatingly handsome face. Who are you? Zhang Xiaolong, right? I'm Lin Ran. Let's talk. Zhang Xiaolong eyed the young man warily. He had to admit, the man exuded an aura of wealth that made him feel inferior, the unmistakable air of a rich young master. What do you want? The fact that he knew his name meant he had done his research. He feared he was another debt collector sent by his father. This wasn't the first time. Lin Ran noticed his nervousness. Don't worry, I just want to make friends. If you want to escape your current predicament, come with me. This was Lin Ran's last invitation, his last chance for Zhang Xiaolong. If he refused, he would leave without hesitation. After all, Zhang Xiaolong was just one potential money-making streamer, not the only one. There were 3 reasons Lin Ran sought him out. First, Zhang Xiaolong would become incredibly popular, a platform-wide phenomenon with millions of followers. Second, proximity. The streamer happened to be from Kyoto. Third, his current destitution. Lin Ran remembered reading about his family's tragic circumstances in his past life. Back then, he wondered what kind of cruel fate had befallen this family. Now it seemed laughable. He wasn't any better off. At least Zhang Xiaolong had a sister who cared about him. His own brother only wanted him dead. Perhaps there was a bit of empathy involved. Zhang Xiaolong's rise to fame wasn't accidental. It was built on his hard work. In an interview, he had said that his sister was the driving force behind all his efforts. After achieving some success, he took his sister in, and later, the siblings became a viral sensation online, both achieving great success. This time, Lin Ran planned to make his move while Zhang Xiaolong was still struggling. He would be working for someone anyway, so why not work for him? And he could guarantee better treatment than anyone else. While Lin Ran's thoughts raced, Zhang Xiaolong spoke. Okay, I'll go with you. In a roadside cafe, Lin Ran extended a sincere offer. Zhang Xiaolong was taken aback. He was just a small-time streamer, and someone wanted to sign him? He examined the contract with skepticism, and what he saw shocked him. The terms Lin Ran offered were among the best in the industry, the kind usually reserved for top streamers. He was just a small fry with a mere 10,000 followers. Did he deserve this? Cautious by nature, Zhang Xiaolong understood that even a flawless contract could be a form of indentured servitude. Of course, that wasn't the main issue. As long as he could earn money, he was willing to sell himself. But he had his family to worry about, and he didn't want to deceive anyone. Mr. Lin, you may not know, but my family situation is complicated. Lin Ran? I know. Zhang Xiaolong. You know? Lin Ran nodded. Your father is a gambling addict, owing over $1 million in loan shark debts. Your mother is a drug addict, but none of this has broken you. You're probably aware that with your own abilities, you'll likely never escape your parents. No matter how much you earn, it won't be enough for them to squander. Yet you still work tirelessly to support your sister's education and maintain hope for the future. I admire that quality, and it's the reason I sought you out. Although you only have 10,000 followers now, I believe that with your attitude and hard work, coupled with the company's resources, your future is limitless. Lin Ran emphasized the words company's resources. Zhang Xiaolong bit his lip, hesitant. Your sister is about to start university, isn't she? Surely you don't want her to drop out because of a lack of money. Okay, I agree. After signing the contract, Lin Ran brought him to the company. Exiting the elevator, Zhang Xiaolong frowned at the seemingly ransacked floor. He wondered if this company was legitimate. Sorry, it's still under renovation. It should be finished in a couple of days. They reached the office area, which was mostly furnished. Wu Zhishang was directing workers installing a projector. Across the street was the headquarters of the Luo Corporation, a prime location. Seeing Lin Ran with someone, Wu Zhishang hurried over. Mr. Lin, is this the streamer you found? Zhang Xiaolong, having already been introduced to Wu Zhishang by Lin Ran, greeted him enthusiastically. Hello, Mr. Wu, I'm Zhang Xiaolong. After the introductions and some small talk, Zhang Xiaolong made a startling discovery. The company, despite its promising appearance, consisted of only 3 people, and he was the sole employee. Were these 2 executives joking? Lin Ran, unwilling to offer lengthy explanations, gave Wu Zhishang a few instructions and left. Wu Zhishang, following Lin Ran's orders, outlined the future plans to Zhang Xiaolong, who listened in stunned silence. With only 3 people, they were aiming to become the biggest media, even film and television, company, and they planned to turn him, Zhang Xiaolong, into a streamer with millions of followers, even the top streamer on the platform. Were these 2 crazy? Wu Zhishang wasn't surprised by Zhang Xiaolong's stunned silence. He'd thought Lin Ran was crazy when he'd first heard this plan. Patiently, he explained to Zhang Xiaolong his plans and ideas for making him a top streamer, finally convincing him somewhat about the company's prospects. Zhang Xiaolong remained skeptical, but agreed to cooperate. After all, he was just a streamer under the company. Obedience was his job. As for becoming a top streamer, who knew what the future held? To him, these promises were just empty words. Wu Zhishang no different from any other manager, painting unrealistic pictures. As long as he could make money, that was all that mattered. Money talks, even the biggest pie in the sky could be swallowed. He didn't know then that many great things start with painting a big pie. After leaving the company, Lin Ran decided to find Luo Yao. He didn't go directly into the Luo Corporation building, unsure if Luo Yao wanted him to appear in public. He thought for a moment and sent a message. Where are you? I miss you. Luo Yao quickly replied. Just finished a meeting. I miss you too. Lin Ran smiled at her simple, I miss you too, inviting my princess to lunch. There was a pause before Luo Yao replied. Okay, you find a place and I'll come over. Lin Ran found a well-reviewed Western restaurant nearby and sent the location. 10 minutes earlier, Luo Yao's office was divided into work and rest areas. Few people knew that behind the bookshelf was a hidden room. Inside this room, photos and information about a specific person covered the walls, detailing his habits and preferences. Today, this hidden room welcomed a sinister-looking man dragged in by bodyguards. Upon seeing Luo Yao, the man trembled like a leaf, as if he'd seen his own demise. The bodyguards remained silent, watching. Luo Yao, holding a steel knife, slowly and gently severed the man's tendons in his hands and feet. Screams echoed, heart-wrenching to hear. Who sent you? Even with his tendons severed, the man gritted his teeth and refused to speak. Luo Yao seemed to be enjoying herself. Slice by slice, she cut off the man's fingers, then his toes. Since you won't talk, you lose your chance. After the man fainted, the bodyguards revived him with salt water, and Luo Yao continued her slow torture, no longer asking questions. It all seemed very natural, as ordinary as eating or drinking. Finally, the man broke, his body contorted in agony. I'll talk. I'll talk. Luo Yao shook her head. No need. You've lost your chance. And I can guess. It must have been the old man who told you to follow Aran, right? He really is restless. Seems breaking his legs wasn't enough. I'll have to go back and give him a little punishment. Since he likes surveillance so much, I'll gouge out his eyes and keep them with me. No need for a middleman. The man's eyes widened. He hadn't expected Luo Yao to guess correctly. Remembering her past acts of madness, he was terrified and begged for mercy. Kill me. Please kill me. Luo Yao smiled, a ghostly, demonic smile like Satan from hell. He, daring to target Aran, will have delightful consequences. She slowly sliced off the man's nose and gouged out one of his eyes. Looking at the eyeball impaled on the tip of her knife, Luo Yao pondered. Aran's been overworking lately. An eyeball could be steeped in wine to nourish him. She shook her head. This one's too dirty. Aran wouldn't like it. She tossed the eyeball to the floor and crushed it under her foot. Kill. Kill me, kill me. The man was nearly unconscious from the pain, wanting only a swift end. Just as Luo Yao prepared to gouge out his other eye, Lin Ran's message arrived. Husband, where are you? I miss you. Luo Yao smiled at the message but frowned at the second one. Opening the location app, she saw his location and panicked. Lin Ran was near her office building. Covered in blood, she couldn't let him see her like this. He would be scared, terrified, and might even run. She couldn't let him see this side of her. No. After a moment, she replied, Okay, you find a place, and I'll come over. Ignoring the bodyguards and the mangled man, she rushed to clean herself up. Miss, what about this man? Luo Yao looked at the writhing, deformed man with no emotion. Wrap him up and send him to the manor. Lock him in the basement and throw in some rats to keep him company. She took a few photos with her phone and left. The bodyguards obeyed, cleaning the hidden room until not a trace of blood remained. Luo Yao cleaned herself in the restroom, disposing of her soiled clothes. Then, she happily left her office. Her Aran was coming to see her. He said he missed her and wanted to have lunch with her. Stepping into the elevator, she sent a message. Picture. Old man, wash your neck. I'm coming for you. The recipient didn't reply. At the Luo family estate, old Master Luo sat in his wheelchair, his face grim. That crazy girl dares to threaten me? If she really wanted to deal with me, she would have done it years ago, not just broken my legs. A soft-spoken man beside him spoke. Master, Monkey is probably dead. What do we do now? Old Master Luo was silent for a moment. That useless fool. I didn't expect that crazy girl to have an expert by her side, someone who could even discover Monkey. But it doesn't matter. She wouldn't dare do anything to me. I'm her grandfather, after all. The soft-spoken man frowned. But she didn't even spare her own parents. Second master is imprisoned. Third and fourth master are dead or crippled, and no one in the younger generation dares to defy her. Old Master Luo rubbed his forehead. The man was right. Luo Yao was as ruthless as he was, and he was now in a weak position. Attacking her was too risky. Fortunately, he was her grandfather and the former head of the family. Luo Yao would surely have some reservations. Otherwise, she would have killed him years ago when she went mad. At least she wouldn't take his life. To succeed, he had to be patient. He would wait for the right opportunity to reclaim his position and punish her with the harshest punishment imaginable. Old Master Luo, don't provoke her for now. Since we've discovered her weakness, we'll find an opportunity. Soft-spoken man? Yes. Old Master Luo. Haha, I didn't expect you to have someone you care about